Zero stalling. We have started the recording. Don't really want more stalling? Bet. No kidding. Today, we will be reading from chapter 305 of Lord of Mysteries. And I'm watching you guys. So I hope you guys are excited. So for... no stalling. It's not like we've been live for 15 minutes. So, I will be your host today, Easy Geeky. If you like what you are going to see, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I guess the best way to support me free would just be watch the videos, like, comment, subscribe, spread the videos, show it to your neighbors, show it to your bus drivers, show it to everybody. Show it to your boss. There you go. That's it. Show it to your grandma, grandpa, uncles, unks. Whenever the Discord unites together, bad things happen. That is true, man. Or it could be something fun and wholesome. Maybe the Klein X Madame Dally ships happens, or it doesn't happen, and that's why you guys are all in a watch party. So if you guys would like to join a watch party and hear some of my bad takes from time to time, you know where to join. Yes. Okay, enough with the awesome intro. I hope you guys are ready. Nah, nothing bad's gonna happen. Bet. Say no more. Bro. That he hears the mad ravings. Okay, let's start. Chapter 305 is called The Detective Exchange. Okay, that sounds hype. Zero stalling. The pathway of Staller, fully digested, by the way. 2,000 pounds! That's enough to drive all the bounty hunters and private detectives in Backland crazy. This isn't like Rear Admiral Hurricane Quillingus, who was out of the sea for an extended periods of times and had a bunch of subordinates. It's a bounty that can easily be touched if one reaches out. While a pirate with combat prowess comparable to a Sequence 5 was worth 10,000 gold pounds, and a Sequence 6 murderer would have to be at a value of 3,000 to 4,000 pounds to be reasonable. Could it be that the Nighthawks and mandated punishers have misjudged a serial killer to be a Sequence 7 rather than a quasi-expert who is about to advance to Sequence 5? They don't know how strong he's going to be. It's very possible that the ritual that the Sun mentioned is rather ancient. Perhaps after the Cataclysm, it has rarely appeared again, and the few great churches and military don't have any information regarding this. There's an underlying problem. The Church of the Gods and the Church of God of Seamen and Machinery, as well as the Augustus royal family, was said to have risen from the Cataclysm. It's reasonable if they are aware of the past, but the Church of Lord of Storms has always insisted that they are one of the oldest. Could it be that the age is referring to a period of time after the devils retreated back to the abyss? After hearing Isengard Stanton's words, the first time that flashed across Klein's mind was to assess the amount of bounty, and then he allowed his mind to wander and made many connections. Hi, Ellie. Would you like to read with me? What's your opinion? Isengard noticed Sherlock Moriarty seemed distracted and pressed him. My opinion, Klein was momentarily stumped. I think she wants to go out. Leonard X Dunn? That would have been a good ship. I would have taken that. All right, let me let her out. My opinion, let me reread this. By the way, thank you, Romero. Klein was momentarily stumped. A normal private detective would have definitely agreed, both because of the bounty and because of the well-known detective in front of him. A friendship with Isengard would provide him with great benefits in the detective circle. The problem, however, was that Klein wasn't a normal private detective. He was worried that he would run into the Nighthawks who were in charge of the investigation. That's gonna be an awkward encounter, man. Although I now have a beard... I forgot he has a beard! What? He has a beard? Glasses? Oh, wait, yeah. Last stream, he was wearing gold glasses. I forgot he had a beard, though. All I can do is a freaking neck beard, man. I'm so jealous, man. This guy is such a hunk. I wish I can look as good as him. Although I now have a beard, glasses, and a change in hairstyle, he has it all. And the few Nighthawks who have seen me only a few times wouldn't recognize me. What if it was Madame Dally? However, it also isn't right to turn down the request, as that wouldn't make sense. It would appear bizarre and suspicious. Furthermore, I do hope to catch the devil as soon as possible. Otherwise, I don't know how many more innocent girls will be killed. Klein hesitated for a few seconds, then he smiled. I've recently taken on a very troublesome case. I'm afraid I don't have much spare time. Before Isengard Stanton can speak up, he added, I can participate in the discussion and help to look through the information and analyze the clues, but I don't think I'll make any specific investigations. I'll do a divination later. If there's a problem, I'll also hold back from sharing my opinion and purely be a spectator. As he spoke, Klein quickly formulated a plan. Holding the black cane in his hand, Isengard pondered for a moment and said, no problem. I've gathered more than a dozen detectives and have enough people to perform an investigation. What I admire the most about you is your excellent reasoning and analytical skills. Dude, he's barely been a detective for like 2 weeks. Without as many resources as me, you actually managed to go all the way to East Ballum Dock and went to the Dock Union. If we do capture the criminal and receive the bounty, I'll distribute the rewards according to everyone's contribution in a reasonable manner. Trust me, I have some credibility in the business. Alright, I hope for a pleasant partnership. Klein reached out with the right hand and shook it. Feeling the dry warmth from Isengard's palm, it wasn't easy for a middle-aged gentleman in his 40s or 50s to maintain such a warmth in Backland's late autumn. This added to Klein's suspicions that Isengard was a beyonder. There has to be like a detective pathway, right? The one where sheriff is bound to it. Maybe there's like a... No, it has to be part of like lawyer. We know lawyer is one. Maybe a detective? This added to Klein's suspicions that Isengard was a beyonder. Likewise, Isengard smiled and nodded. At that moment, Klein realized that he was being somewhat impolite, so he smiled and said, "Sorry, I forgot to invite you in. Let's talk about this over coffee and tea. Thank you for your offer. I've already arranged for detectives to come to my house at 9 in the morning to discuss the case. My assistant is waiting for them there." Isengard took out a marvel of mechanical beauty, a silver pocket watch with complicated engravings. Open it, and he said, "We need to head over there to meet them. Will there be a problem?" "Not at all. Let me use the bathroom first and have a change of clothes." At this moment, Klein suddenly rediscovered the feelings of being a Nighthawk again, striking evil down, maintaining order, and protecting the people. In the bathroom, Klein went above the gray fog and received an acceptable answer through divination. He quickly returned to the real world, put on his coat and hat, took out his cane, and followed Isengard into a rental carriage where he sat beside him. Isengard looked at him and asked while seemingly in thought, "I'm very curious about how you managed to discover the Cyber's death was related to the Dock Union in East Ballum Docks." "I didn't discover it. It's a misunderstanding." Klein considered the question seriously to fabricate a lie. With a smile on his face, he answered vaguely. The crux of the investigation was to first determine that Cyber's death was done by a copycat. This point was all thanks to reporter Mike Joseph. After confirming this, using the clues about Cyber's route from Golden Rose, together with other clues, I had a matching guess, so I disguised myself as a reporter to perform the investigations. Isengard nodded slightly, and without wasting any more time on the subject, he went on to give a more detailed account of the serial murders that the newspaper had described, especially of the latest case. Wait! Why did Lenavus become a copycat killer again? I don't remember why he did that. Sent Sherlock's art in Discord if you want to check it. Okay, yeah, we'll check it again. Picture of Sherlock in general chat. Okay, I'll look at it. Deli X Me is literally canon. God bless. The Holy Kingdom, the bathrooms. Okay, we'll take a look at it. All right. Klein, the bathroom prophet, strikes. You know what? He has done a lot of important deeds in the bathroom. No pun intended. Isengard nodded slightly and... Did I skip? Isengard nodded slightly, and without wasting any more time on the subject, he went on to give a more detailed account of the serial murderings that the newspaper had described. I see you at me, so it was probably why, right? Okay. So he could get the attention from the official Beyonders. Thank you. We haven't read in like almost a month, right? And the last thing we read was the fight, and I completely forgot how he found him. Like, I completely forgot why he became like a copycat killer. For... Confirmed, alleged Jack the Ripper. Thank you. Okay, to get their attention. Time flew by as they discussed an exchange, and exchange progressed. The carriage arrived at a slightly old building in the Helston Borough. The house lighting wasn't very good, even though there wasn't much fog in Buckland today. It remained rather gloomy. Isengard Stannon led Klein through the spacious living room and into the activity room where the fireplace had been lit. Klein looked around and saw about 16 detectives who had filled every available seat in the activity room. Sherlock. A surprised voice sounded. It seemed to be very familiar with. Who is it? Klein looked over in surprise and realized that Detective Stewart, who he had just bade farewell yesterday, was actually here. He carefully looked around and recognized Detective Kazlana, who had been protecting Adol and her assistant Lydia. What a coincidence. The corners of Klein's mouth curled up into a smile as he approached Stewart. Stewart squeezed to the side, vacating half of his seat, and said with a pat, "Maybe it's not a coincidence. I've read about it in a magazine before. There's a psychological phenomenon called synchronicity. Just think about it, can make it happen. Ha, that's a joke." At this point, I have to look that up. At this point, Isengard introduced Klein to the detectives present. This is Mr. Sherlock Moriarty, an excellent detective. The killer has to be one of them. With his endorsement, Kazlana and the others looked at Klein with much more trust than before, believing him to be an outstanding private detective. Kazlana was one of the bodyguards, right? Right now, the voice chat is enjoying all the Sherlock art. Bet we'll take a look right now. Lanavus didn't want the fallen creator to be used his body as a vessel to descend. Oh, yeah, he didn't. He was against that. Okay. I can remember 10 chapters a day to get through it faster. I know. I mean, I wish I can read more and longer. I know. So I am kind of limited on time, but we're going to keep reading. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic. Klein, not in response, sat down to Stuart, and then I read like 3 chapters, and it's a short video. No, that's not gonna happen. Klein, not in response, sat down to Stuart and casually asked, "Is your commission over?" Yes, the dull situation has improved, and something seemed to happen to the bad company of his, and they're unable to threaten him any further. So we lost our jobs. Stuart laughed and said, "I was planning to rest for a few days, but Mr. Stanton summoned me. So I came to take a look. Actually, this is good, as I really don't like to take on strange, scary cases. Oh, scary are those with paranormal elements. Compared to those, I'm more willing to take on murder cases." After an assistant had poured each and every one of them a cup of coffee or tea and distributed the information, Isengard sat down in a reclining chair, took out his pipe, and slowly rubbed it. "I don't think any of you would be unfamiliar with the recent chain of serial murders. Do you have any thoughts on this case? Speak out so that we can engage in a discussion over it." Stuart, whose face was thin and had a tiny mustache, raised his hand and spoke first. "I just read through the information, discovered that the police didn't start investigating the case based on the identity of the victim. I don't think the criminals could have figured out with his eyes that the victim was once a street girl. He must have had contact with them. This is such an important clue, but the police actually missed it. God, this is unbelievable." "That criminal most likely recognized the victim with the naked eye," Klein muttered to himself. "I'm trying to see if I can pick up any clues. I'm not this smart." The majority of the private detectives echoed Stuart's doubts. Only Castellana, Isengard, and a few others remained silent. This is a very important direction. Stuart got a few friends to continue this line of investigation. With the discussion subsided, Isengard calmly gave a comment. In the time that followed, the detectives argued, raising their voice to retort, stood up at times in order to pace around to collect their thoughts, and during this whole time, Klein listened without comment. When the exchange was almost over, he suddenly raised his hand and said, "I want the information of the unsolved serial murders in the last 20 years, spanning across Buckland and even the entire kingdom." The room suddenly fell silent for a few seconds, and most of the private detectives were momentarily unable to understand Klein's intentions and thoughts. Isengard put his pipe to his nose and held it and said thoughtfully, "You think this isn't the murderer's first series of crime?" "I thought you were supposed to do the killings within a span of 9 days, otherwise it reset. So he's probably been attempting to hit sequence 5 for like 20 years. No, you're okay, Unhinged. Even though you're 20 minutes late, I stalled for like 18 minutes. You're good. You suspect... Thank you, guys. There's still 30 of you guys here, man. Thank you. You suspect them of having committed similar crimes before, even if the modus operandi is different? It isn't a suspicion, but almost a certainty, Klein replied in his heart. This was also his reasoning based on the information provided by the Sun. Since the killer who was working hard to advance from sequence 6 to sequence 5, what did he do at sequence 7 as a serial killer? If he hadn't committed similar crimes, it would have been difficult for him to digest the potion. Even with the accumulation of time, where there was a significant chance of losing control when advancing from 7 to 6, furthermore, there's a high risk for beyonders in the Abyss pathway to lose control. Hence, Klein decided that regardless of whether the murderer knew the acting method, he must have done serial murders during his time as a sequence 7 for various reasonings. This way, even if the process of digesting the sequence 7 potion wouldn't take years to complete, together with sequence 6, 20 years would be quite a reasonable limit. After all, if one was too old, regardless of whether one had to digest the potion or not, advancing to the next sequence would have been too dangerous. As the ritual progressed, the person would have become increasingly insane, leaving behind obvious clues. At the current stage, the murderer is calm and has the ability to interfere with the divination and tracking. There were almost no loopholes, but he might not have been able to do the same during his early days of inexperience. When he first completed a serial murder case, there was a high chance that he wasn't that cautious. This was the follow-up which would provide the best clues. Many thoughts flashed through Klein's mind, but he nodded and replied, "The criminal's modus operandi, I cannot read that, doesn't make him seem like a rookie. I have reason to believe that he has done such cases before. By combining the past and present, we're more likely to grasp the crux of the problem." Hearing his answer, the detectives whispered to each other in discussion. After a brief silence from Isengard, he sincerely praised a brilliant idea. Just say, "Am I?" we will say MI. Update check. Dude, you were so quick. All right. Pause, update, and let's continue. I like this. I like this whole detective arc. No, keep reading. So much stalling, you were barely even late. I like it. If you don't read 10 chapters, I will call my lawyer. Hey, I got my own lawyer. He said I have one free pass this week. All right. Chapter 306 is called Giant Bishop. In the evening, Klein sat down on a reclining chair in his activity room. Warmed by the fireplace, he picked up the information that Isengard's assistant had just delivered. As soon as his idea received praise from the great detective in the morning, Kazlana immediately claimed that she needed the same piece of information. Stewart had murmured that he had believed Klein was an excellent detective, given his calmness and composure when faced with Adolf's case, but he hadn't expected him to be that astounding. At the same time, he told Klein that he needed help. At the same time, he told Klein that if he needed help, he could find him. He knew a lot of people in detective circles in Backland. Isengard Stanton also promised to immediately contact the police and tried to provide the corresponding information to the detectives who needed it before nightfall. He truly was very trustworthy. A little too trustworthy. Oh my god, it's Isengard! Oh, wait! Oh my god! Oh, Oh, I shouldn't reach out. I'm not gonna respond to it. Isengard is Jack the Ripper! Oh my, it's gonna be so... I'm gonna only read one response. No. I'm not gonna read anything. Oh my, it has to be him. He literally said he is a pro. How else can you be a pro than being the detective himself? Like, he's literally trying to find him. Bro, is that not... Did bro cook? I cooked. Like, how... Like, he's trying to find himself. Isn't that such a crazy thing? Oh my god. Jack the Ripper's Isengard. Get out of here, bro. If I'm wrong, I won't be so mad. Cuttlefish, you better don't disappoint me, bro. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'll stop. Isengard Stanton also promised to immediately contact the police and tried to provide the corresponding information to the detectives who needed it before nightfall. Yeah, and he's hiring all these people to find himself, but they're not gonna find him because it's him. And then that way people just drop the case. Or he sets up another person. He probably sets up the victim to be the serial killer. He truly was very trustworthy. At the next Tarot Club, I'll have to ask Little Sun through the world about the characteristics of Sequence 6 Devil and what powers the Beyonders of this sequence possess. I didn't plan on involving myself previously, so I had forgotten to gather the corresponding amount of information. However, since I've decided to help, it's best to be prepared. At the very least, I would have known what's happening when dangers rear its head. Klein thought for a few seconds, then he lowered his head and under the light of the gas lamp began to look through the unsolved serial murders in the last 20 years of the Lowen Kingdom. There were fewer than he had expected. There were a total of 4 in Buckle and 5 in other cities, a total of 9. That's it? Only 9? Yeah, although this world doesn't have the concept of DNA yet and lacks many necessary detective skills, with the impetus of the Emperor, there's already a rudimentary form of fingerprint investigations. Furthermore, there's mediumship, divination, dream entry, and other Beyonder methods. The police usually wouldn't seek out Beyonder teams for the 3 major churches for the individual murder cases that don't involve the nobles, the rich, or officials. However, a serial killer has very negative repercussions. It easily causes panic, so they'll definitely make the wisest choice. This way, having only a few unsolved serial murders in the past 20 years is a reasonable and logical. Klein quickly understood the reaction. He gathered his thoughts and began flipping through the cases one after another. In the absence of sufficient information to perform a divination, he had initially selected 2 serial killings that might be related to the current incident and intended to use them as an initial starting point. One case occurred 4 years ago. There were 5 victims, all single prostitutes with a child. They had been mistreated before they died but lacked any evidence of sexual intercourse. That's bad. The police in charge of the case at the time thought that the murderer must have known the ladies, or else it would have been impossible to precisely select individuals with a child. They had identified the suspects from the people who lived nearby and from the regular customers of several of the ladies, but in the end they failed to find the real murderer. Although the dossier only made a brief note. Klein could clearly tell that they had asked for the help of Beyonders from the 3 major churches. Unfortunately, they were unable to crack the case. Well, the Beyonder powers of the Abyss, being able to tell signs that a woman had once been a degenerate, doesn't go against the law of mysticism. Likewise, for recognizing an individual as a worker, but it doesn't make sense that they would know that the woman was single with only 1 child. The police were right. What was the problem? The real murderer was like me, able to resist dreams, divinations, mediumship, and evade the investigations. From mid-sequence Nighthawks and the mandated punishers. It's possible, although the church doesn't lack knowledge about the serial killer, the murderer might have had some fortunate encounters. Klein picked up some problems from his own standpoint. I'm analyzing them by being part of their kind. I really didn't fail to live up to the name of Moriarty. Wait, I'm analyzing them by being of their kind. I really didn't fail to live up to the name of Moriarty. He gave a self-deprecating comment and decided that the first target would still be the 4 from Backland. Yes, I'll get Mr. Stanton to confirm the suspect's current address and condition through the police, and I'll ask Stewart to get others to help me. That way, I wouldn't be able to directly, so as to avoid encountering any official Beyonders. After the situation has been clarified, I can gather the suspect's belongings and move them above the gray fog to make a metaphysical deductions. Klein quickly worked out a plan. The second case had taken place 11 years ago. 4 cases of dismembered corpses had happened in succession. Originally, these cases were considered an isolated case until the police began having suspicions over the way the bodies were handled. Only then was it confirmed that it was a case of serial murders. The victims were men and women who had worked till late at night before they returned home. They weren't robbed, and there had been no common connection between them. Due to the delay, time which was very valuable when they first came was... What? I read this wrong, sorry. Due to the delay, time which was very valuable when the crime was first committed, the case failed to produce any clues pointing to the suspect. This is a problem caused by mishandling the case. If they had quickly received the help of a spirit medium, the wraith of the deceased might have even gathered around the murderer. Of course, it's also possible that the wraith can be killed by the murderer, just like this case. There's probably only ashes of those victims left. It'll be hard to do any investigation through them. Klein rubbed his temples, and when he saw that it was evening, he stopped considering the case and got up from his reclining chair to leave Mink Street. He had something to do that night. He wanted to go to the area south of the bridge to the Harvest Church of the Rose Street to find Bishop Utroski and a bid to appoint the apocryphy formula. Oh, he gave the other guy a clue. Yeah, he's like, go there and you'll get the formula. He had already divined to see if it was dangerous or not. To Klein, having the apocryphy as a substitute was extremely helpful. He could get injured or fall sick. He could encounter enemies who could harm him, and an apocryphy who he could find at any moment would be someone he could rely on. After making a detour to Eastboro, Klein disguised himself and took the steam metro to cross the Tussock River and arrive at the district south of the bridge. Along the way, the darkness along the metro line and the corresponding gas lamps formed an unforgettable scene. While on the public carriage, Klein came to Rose Street and found the tiny Harvest Church, which was easily recognizable. The Golden Cathedral had a more striking steeple and a sacred emblem of life engraved on its outer wall. It was a baby surrounded by the symbols of the wheat, flowers, and spring water. It stood out from the surrounding buildings. At that moment, the cathedral's lights were dim, and there wasn't a single devotee inside. Klein sneaked in from the side, carefully dabbing his face with paint rather than relying solely on his ability to create illusions. In the hall of the cathedral, rows of pews were arranged neatly. Right at the top and the front was a large sacred emblem of life. Candles were lit on both sides of it. A tall man in his 40s or 50s wearing a brown clergyman's attire sat in the front row. Just by sitting there, he was like a small mountain giving off extreme, just like the Hornicus mountain range. Remember Beast Tamer? Get out of here. The all-powerful Sequence Zero. Get out of here, man. I know. I'm a little disappointed, man. I thought Beast Tamer was gonna be like some endgame stuff for like the Seer pathway. I'm still kind of bummed out about that. But you know what? Hey, man, Cuttlefish might have something even better and more crazier planned out. They're like, I just can't even fathom yet once we reach high sequence. We'll see. We'll see. I lost my place. What? This wouldn't be a stream if I didn't lose my place. Just by sitting there, he was like a small mountain giving off extremely oppressive feelings. The man wore a bishop's bonnet and his eyebrows were light and thin. There were obvious wrinkles in the corners of his eyes. his cheeks and the corners of his mouth. He had his eyes closed tightly, his hands clasped and pressed, them to his chin, as if he was the most poised. As if in the most poised of confusions, I read that wrong. Suddenly he opened his eyes, revealing a patch of light blueness. The Mother's Church will not reject anyone. Why didn't you take the main entrance? The 40 to 50-year-old man didn't raise his head as he spoke in a low and gentle voice. Are you Bishop Utravsky? Klang walked out of the shadows. I think my voice squeaked. The tall man in the brown bishop's attire replied gently, I prefer to be called a father, Father Utravsky. All right, your grace. Klein deliberately laughed. Your name and your height tell me that you're from Fasek. Why do you believe in Mother Earth? Bishop Utravsky raised his head slightly and stared at the sacred emblem of life ahead of him and said with emotions, I was born along the coast of the Mid-Seer Shire, Inda. I was a man who was passionate about combat and killing. Inda, he really is from the Fasek Empire. Klein nodded in. Fasek Empire was the empire Tingan City went against, right? In the southern continent, or is this something else? Stream died? Are we back? Are we good? I think we're good. Father Utravsky. I've read it. I can't pronounce it. Father Utravsky. That kind of rolls off the tongue a little hard. Utravsky. Okay. Indal, he really is from the Fasek Empire. Klein nodded indiscriminately. Mid-Seer Shire was a natural border between Lowen, Intis, and Fasek. Is back? Okay. The east coast belonged to Lowen, most of the west coast belongs to Intis, and to the north was the famous port cities. Oh, north. Okay. To the north was the famous port cities of Fasek Empire, such as Indal, the Gigachad. In addition, the Mid-Seer Shire spread to the northeast, penetrated through the Fasek Empire's territory and connecting with the North Sea. There were many islands in the part of the sea that were the habitats for polar bears and sea lions. Hunting polar bears and sea lions were a traditional festival for the citizens of the Fasek. Just as his thoughts began to wander a little bit, Bishop Utravsky continued, looking forward, and said, I committed a serious crime and fled to the Sonia Sea, where I became a ruthless pirate. I was lucky enough to meet missionary of Mother Earth before I fell into the true hell of the soul. After that day, I understood the value of life, understood the charms of all living things, and gained the joy that stems purely from life itself. I swore in front of Mother Earth's sacred emblem that would spread her faith in other countries to make up for my bloody past. Thus, here I am, I came here. Amidst his calm and emotional voice, Bishop Utravsky stood up. He was over 2.2 meters tall, 6.4 feet. Damn, he's tall, dude. And his build was sturdy. His robes were tight, and he looked like a giant from the legends who reappeared on the northern continent. A real giant is 3 to 5 meters tall with a single vertical eye. The citizens of the Fasek Empire are generally tall. It's no wonder they always claim to be the remnants of giants, believing that they have the blood of the giants. Klein had to raise his neck to look at the priest's face. What are you doing here? Bishop Utravsky asked with his head lowered. I heard that you have a request, and the reward is the apocryphy formula. Klein, who had donned a disguise, went straight to the point. Bishop Utravsky fell silent for a few seconds before saying yes. Although I'm not sure where you learned of this, it's true. Then what task is it? Klein asked with a smile. Utravsky sized him up seriously for a while before saying, I don't think you can fulfill my request. Perhaps I can. I need to know the details before I can make an evaluation. Klein frowned. Utravsky stood there like a giant pillar. After a few seconds, he said, my request is... At this point, he closed his eyes and said, kill me? Hey, welcome back, Hollow. Oh, thank you. Update. No, that's kind of sad. What? So, what was that? Yo, thank you for subscribing, dude. What the fuck? We're almost at 1,600 subs. Thank you, dude. Wait, this is so sad. Wait, hold up. Let me update this while we talk about that. That's sad, dude. Wait, actually, look. So, Father Utravsky, he was all about murder and bloodshed, but he had a change of heart when he found out about her teachings. But he still has that regret, and he still has that regret, right, and sentiment. So he wants to end it all, but I guess he can't do it himself. Like, he needs somebody to do the deed for him. But you met him 5 minutes ago. I did meet him 5 minutes ago, but that's sad, bro. Okay, that's sad. That's so sad. You know, I mean, he's a priest. That's kind of sad, dude. It's like a priest. He's trying to help, but like he still can't cope with that. All right, I already like him. Top 5. No, I'm kidding. Not top 5 right away. We have to read more about him. All right, chapter 307 is called Dawn. We have a paladin. One of my favorite classes to play, bro, in any game or just in general. I really like the idea of a paladin, especially in Baldur's Gate, right, or D&D, where you have like an oathbreaker kill you. It was the first time Klein had heard of such a request, and for a moment he didn't know how to respond to such a task. He even started to suspect if there was a conspiracy. Bishop Chadvalsky opened his eyes and looked down at Klein. Kill the old me. Father, can you not have such long pauses when you're speaking? Klein. Kill the old me. He's like, man, he's like, shut up, bro. Get to the point. Father, can you not have such a long pause when you're speaking? Klein's mouth twitched as he asked in puzzlement. Even in the legends and myths, no one can return to the past. I'm afraid this... Not yet. Not yet. Oh, that's gonna be so hype when Klein goes back in time. Even in the legends and myths, no one can return to the past. Maybe the Lord of the Mysteries can do it. I don't know, man. I'm afraid this task of yours can only be accomplished by these 7 gods. Sounds like Klein needs to be the 8th. No, I mean killing the past me, which has never died, as it resides in the depths of my heart. Seeing that Klein was still confused, the slightly hunchbacked bishop said, the former me, who used to love to kill and fight, didn't completely die just because of my contradiction. I can clearly sense that he's still living inside my body, always wanting to regain control of everything, and I'm constantly suppressing him, hoping that he will be redeemed through the mass ascetic cultivation and preaching, making him truly believe in the teachings of Mother Earth and become one with me again. Simply put, the imprints of the past are too deep and they fiercely conflict with the current life, resulting in a split personality. Maybe he's Jack the Ripper. The pseudo-psychologist and the keyboard warrior Klein Moretti made a preliminary judgment and said in deliberation, it's a psychological problem. I think what you need most is a psychiatrist. I've attempted that before. Perhaps you aren't aware. There is a doctor sequence amongst the Beyonder pathways that the Church of Mother Earth controls, which is also known as the healer pastor in ancient times. They must study my problem and believe that it's not as simple as a psychologist's ailment. It's also mixed with the inclination of losing control. If the past me defeats the present me, I will lose control without a doubt and become a monster, Utrovsky said with a sigh. Then what you need is a spectator pathway sequence 6 psychiatrist. Klein thought for a moment and said, your words make me believe that you found a way to solve your problem, but you only lack a suitable executor. Am I right? Yes, all these years, besides preaching, I've also been searching for people and objects that can help me. In the end, with Mother Earth's blessings, I obtained a very mystical item. It's said to be a relic of an ancient dragon. Seeing that Audrey can use that, I think she can help out. Seeing that Klein wasn't scared anyways. Oh, I skipped a line. Seeing that Klein... I lied, I didn't skip a line. Seeing that Klein wasn't scared anyway, Utrovsky answered with some hope. It allows a wielder to enter the deepest part of the target's soul, or, in other words, the bottom of the target's dreamland. There, a corresponding scene will be materialized. That way, you can see the past me directly, and then through the combat, eliminate him. In the special state, once he is truly dead, he will never appear again. But I feel like there won't be no present him without the old him, right? I feel like killing his old self would actually kill the current him. Nah, man. It's like Final Fantasy 16. You have to accept the truth, man. When you accept, such a badass scene. Sorry. I was thinking of FF16. As expected of the mysterious world, there's actually such a method to treat someone with split personalities. Klein signed with emotion and cautiously asked, what restrictions are there, or what harm will it cause to the holder? Why do you think I'm incapable of completing this task? Bishop Utrovsky looked down at Klein and said, once you use the mystical item, although the owner will remain conscious, there are many layers of the soul of the dreamland. The past me will be able to make full use of this point to deceive you, or conversely, they can even kill you. And after a set period of time, yes, 5 minutes, the mystical item will make you completely lose consciousness, and your mind will never be able to return to your body and become its sacrifice. In this way, you will become a vegetable. In addition, as a result of the scene's materialization, if you've killed in the deepest part of your heart, or put it another way, the lowest love of the dreamland, similar to the side effects will occur, it's equivalent to true death. That's what I'm saying. W. Romero, what do you do? Kill the Chad? And let the weep be born? Wait, what? We're almost at 40? What? Dude. Thank you. I think we were like, we hit 50 on our second and last stream when we almost finished volume 1. Thank you guys. That's so crazy. Thank you, dude. Believe me, the past me is much stronger than you think. So that's how it is. However, the issue isn't a problem at all for me. I'm someone who can stay awake and rational during spirit channel. And I'm over here studying my words because I'm getting a little shy now. Now there was almost 40 of you guys. Channeling and dreams, even the mystical items want to make me lose myself completely. There's no need to worry too much. As long as there's room for struggle, I can take 4 steps counterclockwise and chant my honorable name and directly head above the Great Fog. The problem is, how strong is the past Bishop Utrowski, and what are my chances of defeating him? What restrictions or taboos are there in fighting in a materialized spiritual world? Klein thought for a while and said, how strong were you, Father Utrowski? I don't think I would definitely lose. Bishop Utrowski's eyes turned adrift for a moment. I was a warrior. Oh, that's so cool, dude. Whoa, he was a Dawn Paladin? Wait, dude. Oh, I have already reached sequence 6 of my Beyonder pathway, becoming a Dawn Paladin. So he's not a Beyonder of the Planter pathway. He himself said that he had committed a crime and became a pirate before being converted by the Church of Mother of Earth. Sequence 6, yes, it's not like I can't win. A magician is the kind of Beyonder that's much stronger if they make preparations. Oh, it's going to be such a good fight. If they make preparations in advance. Also, due to my uniqueness, the deepest part of my heart, or the lowest level of my dreamland, can be considered as my home ground. Klein pondered for a few seconds and said, will the mystical item weaken him? We're planning to read between 5 and 10 chapters. I'm probably going to read more than 5. The goal is anywhere between 5 and 10. Utrowski recalled... Oh, I skipped a line? I think I skipped a line. So he's not a Beyonder... I read this. Will the mystical item weaken him? Yes, but it's still his main region of activity, so the weakening wouldn't be too great. At most, it would be like he had already fought an intense battle. Utrowski recalled his previous attempts. That just raises my chances. Klein continued, is there anything I need to pay attention in this special environment? Just like real combat, effective attacks are always effective. Illusions will remain illusions, but one thing must be noted. He can bring you into a few other levels of the Dreamland at any time. Bro, this is like Inception. Creating a situation where it's hard to determine whether it's reality or an illusion. It's literally Inception, where you go deeper into the dream. Bishop Utrowski empathized, so you have to be at least sequence 6 or at some other special sequence 7 to be able to complete this mission. And the risk is nothing trivial. Heh. If I don't swear on a holy artifact of Mother Earth, then I won't ask the church for help. But before my missionary succeeds, things wouldn't have been so difficult. I skipped a line. I'm sorry. No, yes. Father Utrowski or goat. Clownception. Clownception. So that's how it is. I'm not afraid of a dream. The corners of Klein mouths curled up. Final question. Are there any points to take notes when fighting a Dawn Paladin? Bishop Utrowski frowned his wrinkles and face and said with a sigh, this is something that requires absolute secrecy for Beyonders. However, as long as you participate in enough battles, others would often be able to conclude certain traits. Besides, the more details you know, the higher the chances of success are, right? Yes, Klein answered frankly with a nod. In a reminiscent tone, Bishop Utrowski said, a Dawn Paladin possesses a power akin to that of a giant. He gets big, enabling the area within 40 to 50 meter radius, 150 feet, to be basked in the light of dawn. Such light can not only dispel... Oh, his fire's not going to work. Oh, no, his illusions won't work. Such light can not only dispel illusions, but it also has a special ability to exorcise wraiths and spectators, and it can even weaken evil spirits. That sounds hype. They can conjure dawn. So this is what Derek is going to be, because Derek's on the same pathway, right? Our little son. They can conjure dawn armor around their bodies, which would be equivalent to specialized forged full body armor that doesn't weigh anything or inhibit their motions in any way. If destroyed, recovery would require a certain amount of time. No. He was a paladin. Paladin and warrior weren't on the same pathway. Derek is the sun pathway. This is a different pathway? Ah, shucks. I'm like, this sounds cool, dude. Bards for... Oh, shit, you're right. He's on the bard pathway. It's so weird. He has like a cleave. He has a giant axe like a warrior, and it's like his official name is a bard. The warrior path. Okay, warrior pathway Badoon. Okay, bard is Derek. Warriors. It's crazy. Like when I was recalling Derek, it's like he's like a warrior with a giant axe, but like he's a bard. He's not playing a flute. He's playing with an axe of lightning, dude. That is so cool. I'm sorry. I completely forgot about that. I forgot he was a bard. I thought, like, I know his weapon, right? Like, I know what he wants to be at the end, but I completely forgot the title is the Bard Pathway. They can conjure dawn. I just read this. His chief is a sequence 4 warrior. You're right. Yeah, that was a high sequence one. He's dropping heads and rhythms. He's dropping like every time. No, that was revealed. No, it's okay. No, that wasn't a spoiler. That was revealed. I'm pretty sure that was revealed earlier when I think he was pulling him in, right, and they spoke. I think he made it. Sorry, delete that. No, you're good. Apart from the Dawn Paladins, he's a type of beyonder power to create a hurricane of light. It can directly destroy a person's body, eliminate wraiths, and damage evil spirits. There aren't a lot of beyonder powers, but they are my natural enemy. They have high offensive strength and defense, and you're not afraid of illusions, so this is like his natural enemy, at least as of right now, because he's dependent on these illusions. They have high offensive strengths and defenses, and they're not afraid of illusions. The only good news is that other than facing wraiths and spectators, the mysteriousness of a Dawn Paladin is very low. Klein listened as he simulated a combat situation in his mind, searching for the most reliable way to deal with a Dawn Paladin. The level of mysteriousness he was referring to implied strangeness, unpredictability, unfathomability, and incomprehensibility. Bishop Utrowski looked at him quietly. He didn't press him or drive him away. After gradually formulating a plan, Klein raised his head, looked over, and said, "Perhaps I can give it a try, but I will need to leave for a few minutes to confirm that you're not lying." Bishop Utrowski replied with a slight stern voice, "No problem. However, I must remind you once again, although I don't know where your confidence stems from, do not belittle the past me." No way we're gonna fight. He's extremely skilled in combat. I wouldn't joke with my life. Klein pressed his hands to his chest, bowed, and stepped out of the Harvest Church. He found a secluded spot to quickly went above the grave fog to make a divination. He's trying to see, like, am I good or nah? After obtaining an answer that there was a certain danger, but a tolerable levels, he immediately returned to the real world. Look at that, dude. He has like a cheat sheet. Like, is this, like, can I do this or not? It's like when it's like when you look up a guide for a video game. It's like, can I do this? It's like he has a little cheat sheet. He immediately returned to the real world. From the beginning to the end, it only took him about 10 to 20 seconds above the grey fog. Following that, Klein returned to the Harvest Church and said to Bishop Utrowski, who stood in his original spot, "I'll take this commission." Bishop Utrowski stared at him intently before slowly saying, "If you succeed, not only will I give you the apocryphy formula, but I will also gift you a mystical item without much of a negative side effect." There has to be a negative effect. Klein was taken aback at first before he sincerely praised Father. "You truly are a generous person." Bishop Utrowski didn't say another word. He took a strange candle from the concealed pocket in his brown clergyman tunic. The outer layer of the short candle seemed to be wrapped in a layer of human skin, but there was also several bumps on it. Its wick was about the length of a finger segment and was entirely black in color. It covered in tiny, densely packed scale-like patterns. Ignite it with your spirituality. Utrowski handled this tiny, strange candle to Klein. Instead of following his instructions, Klein took out a matchbox, took out a few of them, and put them in his trouser pockets. He lit and blew out a few other matchsticks before throwing them at various corners of the cathedral. Then he adjusted the positions of the paper figurines, paper notes, This is so cool, dude. It's so crazy seeing Klein, like, set up. He's kind of like Batman in a way. You know how people say, like, Batman can beat anybody if he has time to prepare? I've heard the debate. Like, I know the debate. But, like, it's cool seeing him, like, prepare before entering a fight. Various corners of the cathedral. Then he adjusted the position of the paper figurines, paper notes, long strips of paper, Zig's copper whistle, and various charms. This was in preparation for the worst case scenario that he can imagine. After all of this was done, Klein snapped his fingers, causing a blue-colored flame of spirituality to appear. Sizzle. This is so cool, dude. He held the flame close to the top of the tiny candle and watched the black wick light up. Nothing seemed to change, but Klein was actually aware that he had entered the world of the mind. Directly in front of him, he saw Bishop Utrowski still standing in his original spot. His sturdy body, which was more than 2 meters tall, gave off a sense of oppression. This is so cool. Get the music. I know. No, the chapter's almost over. I know. I can tell we need to change the music. Directly in front of him, I just read this. The repentant bishop looked down at him, his facial muscles contorting, following that his expression became abnormally ferocious. Soon after, Klein discovered that the surrounding light and shadows were rapidly transforming, and it felt that he was experiencing a real intense battle. Pa! At the end of the battle, Bishop Utrowski fell heavily to the ground. His breathless body had blood flowing profusely. Klein's mouth twitched as he saw the scene before him with a clear mind. He silently evaluated, what a professional performance. But I know that this is a dream within a dream. Literally clownception. Oh my god. Sequence 7 wins no diff. Bro, let's update. Let's read this fight. We need to change the music. Should I play walls closing in? Fight music? I think I'm gonna play walls closing in. Because that's like Ellie's barking at the time of a fight. I think she wants to read it with us. Man, let's go, man. It's been a cool minute since we played this. Chapter 308. Yeah, I did timestamps. 308 is called A Prepared Magician. God, this is so cool. When Klein looked down again... Wait, you're at me? You're going to lose control? I know. I'm going to hear the mad ravings, huh? When Klein looked down again, he could no longer see the strange candle wrapping in human skin. Instead, a faint, slightly sweat scent kept lingering around his nose. Ignoring the Bishop Utrowski's body that was lying down in a pool of his own blood, he took out his matchbox and lit one matchstick. The blood on the ground disappeared as soon as the spark was produced, and the messy church hall became tidy once again. The gargantuan Utrowski slowly got up, looked down at Klein, and said with a twisted face, "It actually didn't have any effect. It's no wonder that you dared to accept this task. However, this is your misfortune. I didn't actually want to kill you." As he spoke, the candle light on both sides of the cathedral began to flicker visibly. The entire hall suddenly brightened, but it was mild and not blinding. It was as if the morning sun had just come in. The invisible spirit quickly vanished, and Klein, without a word, threw the match, flexed his cheeks, and simulated a sound. Bang. I can't get that meme you guys said in the chat the other day. But I can't think about that, dude. An invisible air bullet shot out and struck Bishop Utrowski. Oh, why am I thinking of that meme you sent me, dude? Oh man, you guys ruined this. Oh man, you guys ruined such a badass moment, man, by making it funny, dude. He's like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I gotta stop thinking about that. I gotta go back to Yu Yu Hakusho. He's just using his hands. An invisible air bullet shot out and struck Bishop Utrowski heavily in the chest, producing a resounding sound. However, the giant bishop had at some point equipped a set of silver armor that covered his entire body. It included gauntlets, breastplates, and a helmet. At that moment, a spiderweb light crack appeared on the silver metal at his chest, but it didn't completely shatter. It even began to slowly recover. Bang, bang. Klein produced a series of sounds, creating two air bullets that followed one after another, sending them forward the enemy's chest in a bid to completely destroy the enemy's defense with a continuous barrage of attacks. However, he saw that in Bishop Utrowski's hands was a heavy, wider rapier, looking as if it was condensed from light? From light? Using it, he deftly blocked the two air bullets, producing two sounds which were almost impossible to distinguish. Creak. Utrowski took one step forward and the cathedral seemed to shake. At that same time, his two-handed rapier, I'm reading it wrong, I'm sorry, swept down at Klein in a gesture that looked as if it was going to shatter the building. Before the sword arrived, the wind that it carried with it almost caused Klein to lose his balance. Such terrifying power. As this thought flashed through his mind, Klein definitely jumped to the side and bent over, ready to roll on the spot. Bang! The two-handed rapier in Utrowski's hand smashed into the ground, shattering the stone slabs and causing the cracks to spread rapidly in all directions. Screech. He dragged the rapier along the ground as he switched from a vertical slash to his horizontal sweep, causing sparks to fly. This move was meant for opponents who love to roll. Just as Klein was about we're locking it. Huge lightsaber. No, it's not Star Wars. This is like I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Just as Klein was about to hit the ground. No, it is like Yu Yu Hakusho, right? The flame sword they make? The lightning one. Just as Klein was about to hit the ground, the image of himself being struck down by the two-handed rapier appeared in his mind. He quickly swung his arms and reached out with his palms. He lightly pressed and once again leapt into the air. Whoosh! The resulting wind blew across the dust on the ground, and the terrifying rapier flattened the nearby pews. However, before Klein could counterattack, the giant bishop chained his attack without any pause. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes, 5 strikes, 6 strikes, 7 strikes. Utrowski seemed to possess extremely robust stamina. His unceasing storm-like attacks lashed for dozens of seconds. He used the simplest of sword techniques, lashing vertically, slashing diagonally. Dude, he's holding back. Sweeping horizontally, thrusting forward, and bashing forward to demonstrate what the most effective and reasonable way to deal the most damage. And the range of the two-handed rapier reached a terrifying extent. Klein jumped, rolled, and ran. He didn't have the opportunity to use his powers and appeared rather pathetic. If it wasn't for the matches that he'd thrown ahead of time in different corners of the cathedral and how the candle on both sides of the altar had yet to be exchanged, it allowed him to flash, he probably would have been slain by his enemy. That's so cool, dude. Are you sure about that? Oh, man, dude. As expected of a Beyonder... Did I skip a line? Oh, no. As expected of Beyonder jobs as a depth of combat, no mistakes, no weaknesses. Klein didn't panic because of this. Amidst his rolling and dodging, he constantly looked for any flaws that the enemy had, waiting for his attacks to reach a moderate stage. Finally, he discovered a problem with Wutrowski's sword techniques. The two-handed rapier was too long and too large, and it had obvious flaws in close combat. With this thought flashing in his mind, Klein took the advantage of the rapier's vertical slash to roll forward to the left, and then with a push of his palm, he quickly rolled to the spot between Wutrowski's legs. As if a giant who was over 2 meters tall, Wutrowski would have his legs spread apart for simply standing. His silver cross was clearly visible. As soon as he rolled over, Klein's left hand reached into his pocket, pulled out a long piece of paper, and turned it into a sharp, hard cane. He then inserted it into the gap at the side of the enemy's cross, strapping it into the enemy's body of the giant bishop. This would be a fatal blow. However, at this moment, his heart trembled. The image of a rapier stabbing down at a boundless light, forming a terrifying storm, engulfing his entire body, appeared in his mind. A trap. Wutrowski's trap. Klein didn't hesitate. He pressed his right hand down, jumped forward through the gap between the legs of the giant bishop's leg. Oh, right through. So he went under and arrived behind him. By the time he finished his set of motions, Wutrowski was holding the hilt of his sword with both hands, bending his waist and lifting his sword up to thrust straight down in the stone slab in front of him. With a cracking sound, rays of light surged out of the sword's body like the first rays of dawn. This turned into a hurricane and swept across... Oh, he did say that. And swept across the surroundings. Without a sound, the stone slabs disappeared from where Klein had been, and the earth beneath it became nearly 10 centimeters thinner. The silver armor on his legs and crotch was also damaged, shattering inch by inch and revealing his skin. Okay, so we're doing damage. His trap was to sustain damage in exchange for the death of his enemy. So it was a double-edged sword. At this moment, Klein, who had leaped behind Bishop Wutrowski, finally found an opportunity to counterattack. He twisted his body mid-air, puffed out his cheeks, and stimulated gunshot sound. Klein, who had leaped behind Bishop Wutrowski, finally found an opportunity to attack. He twisted his body mid-air, puffed out his cheeks, and simulated gunshot sounds at the back of his enemy's head. What the this is so wild, bro. I can't believe he's fighting like this. 2 air bullets hit the back of Wutrowski's head in quick succession, shattering the silver metal in the area and then splitting it into pieces, exploding completely unprotected area. Klein was about to give him a fatal blow when Wutrowski suddenly straightened up, twisted his waist, and violently swept the two-handed rapier backwards. The speed was so fast and the effect was so ferocious that Klein seemed unable to dodge it. However, he pulled out a piece of paper from his pocket and placed it in front of his body, so that takes the damage. The collision between the sword and the piece of paper produced the sound of a metal being struck. The crisp sound of metal striking metal filled the entire cathedral. This is such a cool fight, dude. Bro, dude, he's grown so much, dude. The good old days. What do you mean? Halo. He's using, you know what, dude? He's using a plasma cutter. What? In mid-air, he was immediately faced. Whoa, I skipped the line. Klein was sent flying like a tennis ball. The paper in his hand was torn apart, leaving behind only thin pieces in between his fingers. In mid-air, he was immediately faced with the violent, swift pursuit of Wutrowski. The situation was precarious. However, he didn't panic in the slightest and only shook his wrist. The tiny piece of paper flew up and a spark of rapidly expanded completely enveloped Klein. The rapier sliced through the ball of fire. He shot a fireball. Wait, no. Yeah, wait. He actually shot a fireball. Imagine sequence 1. This could be so good. He's probably gonna fight with only his puppets, and like he probably won't even need to fight himself at that point. He will just let all his clones do the fighting for him, or whatever crazy tentacle like appears or whatever tentacles appear, because we've been seeing so many damn tentacles in this series that he has to be able to harness these like mad raving tentacle powers, and then all his clones, and then they also start using all these crazy tentacles. Like he has to find a way to use it, right? Oh, it's gonna be so good. The rate, oh my god, and then he can shoot, and then everybody shoots illusionary fireballs or air bullets. Get out of here. Plus whatever else he learns, get out of here, bro. Peak. At the count on the right, I skipped the line, bro. The rapier sliced through the ball of fire, but it didn't cause any damage, only creating a small spark. At the candle on the right side of the cathedral, a faint yellow flame spread out, forming a figure whose face was painted with oil paint. Wasn't that what the angel wings left behind? The oil? No. Oil paint. That's something else. Klein reappeared and pulled out another long strip of paper from his pocket. Pop. With a flick of his wrist, the paper turned into a sturdy... A whip? Klein reappeared and pulled out another long strip of paper. Oh, the strips he made. He pulled out another... I thought he makes daggers. He pulled out another long strip of paper from his pocket. With a flick of his wrist, the paper turned into a... This is so cool. The paper turned into a sturdy whip. The surface of the whip was even burning. What the fuck, man? It was burning with scarlet flame. I'm getting teary-eyed. This is sick, dude. This is so cool, dude. The surface of the whip was even burning with scarlet flames. It was like the other fight with the demoness, remember? The flame whip? Or was it a blood... No, it was a flame whip. Paw, paw, paw. Klein lashed out as the giant bishop from a distance. However, his weapon quickly disintegrated under the attacks of two-handed rapier. And that was precisely Klein's goal? Paw. With a snap of his fingers, he sent streaks of fire flaring up from the ground. Oh, because it was a whip sword. Blocking Utroski and burning his... Oh! He cut the whip on fire. It shattered and fell apart, but because it's still on fire, he shot the fire. Oh my god, he is so fucking smart. With a snap of his fingers, he sent streaks of fire flaring up from the ground, blocking Utroski and burning his unprotected legs. The Dawn armor's recovery was rather slow. Oh yeah, the armor regenerates. As the tongues of fire leaped upwards, his legs were charred. Black and crimson color was seeping up his legs, so he's burning. However, that didn't affect the giant bishop agility. He let out a low growl, and like a steam train that had finally accelerated to its highest speed, he charged through the flames and appeared in front of Klein. The speed was unbelievably fast, but he can go faster. Soon after, the two-handed rapier in Utroski's hands cracked, turning into spots of light and sweat forth in all directions. Almost instantly, Klein fell into a situation of certain death. The matches he kept on him were ignited, and an intense flame engulfed him. However, this wasn't as fast as Hurricane of Light. Just as the scarlet red flame reappeared, it was immediately engulfed. Klein's body was torn asunder as it was reduced to shreds. By the end of the losing... By the... What? I'm getting lost. No. Hold up. I can't mess up now. We're almost done with the chapter. Klein's body was torn asunder as it was reduced to shreds, but they ended up losing their thickness and turned into bits of paper. Behind Utroski, a column of scarlet red flames flared and Klein stepped out. He's so cool, dude. He took out a matchbox from his other pocket and threw it at the enemy as if to ignite all the remaining matches in one go. That has to be like a fireball, right? Through the restraints of the small space, create a reliable explosion. The matchbox was aimed at Utroski's lower body, which was no longer had any protection. Klein raised his right hand and snapped his fingers. At the same time, Bishop Utroski jumped up on his back, bent his knees, and withdrew his legs. Paw. Accompanied by the snap of his fingers with an unaffected matchbox, but a loud bang, it was an air bullet that was accurately tore open at the back of Bishop Utroski's head, which lacked any protection. It was lethal weapon that had been prepared in advance. His skull split open and blood and white bits splurted out. White bits? Oh, brain matter. Right? His skull split open and blood and white bits spread out. With great difficulty, Utroski turned his head around and said in a daze, "You." The matchbox that was riddled with holes caused by Hurricane Quillingus fell to the ground. However, it remained unignited. Klein laughed and replied, "I've never said that snapping my fingers could only be used to control flames and not shoot out air bullets." I didn't even think about that. That is so freaking cool. So now he's like, he can fool them When he snaps, they don't know if it's gonna be an air bullet or if it's gonna be like a hidden like flame ability from somewhere. Okay. That's so cool. I've never said that snapping my fingers can only be used to control flames and not shoot out air bullets. Look, pop. He snapped his fingers repeatedly, allowing one air bullet after another to hit Utroski in the head, shattering his helmet and cracking his head. Bam. Utroski stopped breathing and fell heavily to the ground, shaking the cathedral hall slightly. Paw. Klein turned and snapped his fingers again. The box of matches on the ground exploded, transforming into a scarlet flame that burned Utroski's gigantic body. Klein didn't attempt to sense the existence of the candle, but instead he relied on his own clarity of mind to force himself out of the lowest level of his mind. Behind him, the corpse was wrapped in scarlet flames as the world around him disintegrated bit by bit. Bro, dude, he is so strong now. Dude, he didn't even use every ability. Right? He used, wait, I think he did. Air bullets, flames, splash, paper, his clone. That's 5. There was like 9 in total, right? Oh, then there was like breathing under the water. Yeah, dude, he literally used it. He didn't use underwater. Yeah, he didn't use underwater one. So he basically used everything at his disposal. He did use the water breathing. When did he use the water breathing? He did? Didn't he say he was like holding his breath at one point? No, I don't remember that. I'm tripping out. That was such a good fight. He's come such a long way. So far, I mean, look, the Lenavus fight was my favorite just because it was raw strength and agility that took him out. But like, this is cool. Because now, not only is he strong, agile, he's very cunning and deceptive when he fights. Everything minus the bones. Oh, yeah, the bone softening. Everything minus the bone softening and water breathing. He didn't use it because he didn't even get hurt. He didn't even get hurt to the point where he had to transfer the damage. He is so busted. So that was a sequence 6 Dawn Paladin, right? He didn't use it in... Oh, he didn't... Oh, yeah, he had illusions. He didn't use illusions. He is strong. Oh, my God. I think he did use the bone softening when he was dodging. Okay, so Cuttlefish didn't write that he used it, but we can assume he used it, right? When he was getting hit and he was getting up. Okay, now update chapter and timestamps. Let's update. Let's keep going, bro. That was a hype chapter. Choosing 1 out of the 2. I'm excited for the next chapter. Let's keep going, dude. Wait, Levanus was a good revenge fight? I think that's my second favorite fight. The Harbor fight was crazy because it was the first official fight. The Megoose fight was wild and insane. And then the Lenavus fight. And then this one, maybe? This could be 4? Lenavus was probably my favorite fight until Volume 3 or 4. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, wait, I didn't read what Clownman said in case it was a spoiler. It's my job, Clownman. I need to take it seriously. Thank you. All right, let's keep going, man. Ah, man, this fight was good. I like it. Okay, I wouldn't say this is like a hype fight. I like it because it demonstrates his abilities. I like it because this fight is setting up the Jack the Ripper fight. This fight is good because Father Utroski is the GOAT. You guys meant Chadvosky. So, okay, this fight isn't that high up because we only met the character. I think this fight is meant to be like an appetizer fight to show you how good of a fight and how good of a fighter he's going to be when he fights Jack the Ripper in this volume. But this was a good fight. This was a really good fight. This would be I think this might be my least favorite fight just because the other ones had more of an emotional toll on me. But this was a really cool fight that demonstrates like his powers. Klein fights smart. I like it. He's not like me where I'm like when I play, I'm like an unga bunga. It's like, hit. Go straight and hit and then dodge. No, he's very cunning. Klein's fight in his magician stage or cinema, it is. I can see how I keep doing this when I'm like excited. This fight is like a 4 out of 10 in comparison to, I can see that. Because that Jack the Ripper fight is going to be crazy. Because he's going to be using everything. I'm going to call it right now. when he's fighting Jack the Ripper at like a harbor or whatever, because we know there's like a huge body of water in Buckland, he's going to pretend to die, right? He's gonna fake his death, and he's going to use that breathing ability when he goes underwater, and he's gonna get that last hit. It's gonna be so good. Or Jack the Ripper's gonna pretend to kill him, right? And then he uses his like softening bone ability, and he goes in the water, and he like, I can see it. Klein does this. He's like sinking in the water, but no more than 15 meters because he can breathe underwater. I know I'm cooking. And then he comes in and gets the last hit on Jack the Ripper. Clip it. Clip it. Ship it. Send it, bro. I know, bro. This fight is setting it up. This is a really good setup fight. You see, rather than like saying how good of a fight this is, it's hyping me up for future fights. Literally, Sherlock. Come on, man. Get out of here. I've watched Sherlock on Netflix. Come on, man. I know a thing or two about Sherlock. Sherlock's detective skills. I got this. I got this. We got this, bro. We got this. All right, let's keep going, man. Chapter 309. All right, chapter 309. Wait. I lied. Let me take off the music. I think the fight's over. I think the night song will fit a little bit, at least post-fight. The illusionary feeling. Oh, wait, chapter 309. Choosing 1 out of 2. The illusionary feeling passed, and Klein saw the strange candle in his hand again, along with its back wick and palish white flame. The damage of the Dawn Paladin, shattered ground, broken fuse, and the sliced candles had been restored to its pre-battle state. It was hard to tell where they had been damaged. At some point, Bishop Utrosky, who had been standing opposite of him, had taken a seat in front view, his back bent forward and his head buried in his hands. His hands were pressed to his temples. Drip, drip. Sweat trickled down his face and spread out from his feet. The ground was already completely wet. When he sensed that the strange candle, it's not from a gacha game, Unhinged. We'll see if you guys can guess where the shirt's from. Sweat trickled down his face and spread out from his feet. The ground was already completely wet. When he sensed that the strange candle had been extinguished by Klein, he shuddered and raised his head to meet Klein's eyes. His slightly turbid eyes were filled with tears, and his wrinkled face was streaking with tears. However, his eyes were filled with emotion, joy, and clarity. It was said that this giant bishop previously appeared tall and heavy, and that all that was left of him was the heaviest of his body, but without the heaviness of his spirit. At this moment, Klein felt like he was looking at a newborn baby. Those tears were proof of new life. The corners of Utrosky's mouth curled up slightly as he smiled kindly. You're much better than I expected. No, this is because I gained sufficient understanding in advance and made the appropriate preparations. As for the past, not only were you unsure of your opponent's strength, you were also greatly weakened. If I were to fight you again in your real world, I would be considering how to escape. Klein calmly replied. A prepared magician and an unprepared magician are very different concepts. He added silently in his heart. Bishop Utrosky didn't dwell on this problem. Brimmed with relief from head to toe, he said, "Thank you, my friend. This is the start of a new friendship. I can see this. According to our agreement, I'll give you the apocryphy formula. I'll also give you an additional mystical item." He's gonna be strong. He's gonna be strong. He's gonna be stronger now. As he spoke from his pocket, he took out what looked like a combination of a needle, a tube, and a container. You have 2 choices. Oh, he gets to pick. This is one of the 2 choices you have. When I got it, I didn't know its name, and I never thought about naming it either. You're able to use it to draw out a tube of blood, your own blood. At a critical moment, you can transfuse it back into you. That way, your fatigue will disappear. Your ailments and injuries will be alleviated, and your strength, speed, balance, and other attributes will all be greatly enhanced. Bishop Utrosky pointed to the object with his hand. What about its limitations and latent dangers? Klein asked rationally. Utrosky looked at mysterious patterns on the needle and tube and explained in detail. After drawing out a tube of blood, you'll be weakened for a full 12 hours, and during those 12 hours, ooh, that sounds bad. And during those 12 hours, transfuse the blood back into you wouldn't have any effect. Of course, the specific time limit isn't that precise. It increases or decreases according to your body's condition. So when you sequence 1, this will have no repercussions. In addition, it's best to not use it too often, no more than once a week. Otherwise, not only will the transfusion bring you power, but it'll also temporarily make you lose your rationality in the short period when you have your blood drawn and turn weak will weaken your characteristic. In addition to these, it also has its problems. If you carry it around for more than half an hour, you'll become a little neurotic. Fortunately, Bishop Utrosky didn't previously draw his blood, otherwise it would past him can transfer his blood, he would have died. Otherwise, if the past him can transfuse his blood, my chances of winning would have been very, very low. This was the first thought that flashed through Klein's mind. He frowned and was rather worried about the negative effects of the mystical item. Regardless of whether it was a temporary loss of rationality, a 12-hour period of weakness, or a change in mental state, these were all hidden dangers that didn't seem too problematic. But after seeing rampagers and hearing the ravings of an evil god, Klein believed that Beyonder's mental state was very important. So this is too risky. If one's mental state remained at a nadir for an extended period of time, or if it were frequent anomalies, it wouldn't easily cause a phenomenon or losing control to happen. This was the same even if Beyonder had grasped the acting method. Is that a Xenoblade shirt? No, but I should get a Xenoblade shirt. What's the second choice? Klein said after 2 seconds of silence. Bishop Petrovsky took out a simple brass key from his other pocket and smiled. I already know this master key is going to unlock the invisible door. I already know. This is such a hype-ass setup. This is called a master key. It can help you open any lock which doesn't contain... Ah, shit, never mind. The door has to have mystical powers. It can help you open any lock which doesn't contain mystical powers, as well as a small number of locks that are augmented with beyond effects. And in place without any locks or doors, it can open a passageway that doesn't belong to reality. That's so funny. It's a lock for that. Oh, no, definitely not. This is called a master key. It can help you open any lock which doesn't contain mystical powers, as well as a small number of locks that are augmented with beyond effects. And in place without any locks or doors, it can open a passageway that doesn't belong to reality. Heh. The premise is that there are no restrictions by beyonder powers, that any barriers aren't too thick. Its spirituality is completely restrained. When it's not being used, beyonders cannot see any difference between it and a normal key. Take this. Utrosky stood up again, leaving Klein with no choice but to look up. The giant bishop increased his pace and came to the wall at the side of the cathedral hall and pressed the master key against the brick. He twisted gently, and his entire body seemed to sink into the wall as ripples were produced. He went through the wall and arrived outside. Bro, take this. In the same way, this is gonna be so good for a detective. In the same way, Bishop Utrosky returned to the cathedral hall and entered Klein's line of sight again. Have you decided on the mystical item? The tall priest asked with his head lowered. What are the latent dangers of the master key? Klein asked after some deliberation. Bishop Utrosky smiled and warmly said, the person carrying it will occasionally get lost. That sounds so funny. The person carrying it will be... Oh, wait! But he can just divine if I'm going the right way. It's an artificial door? Oh my goodness. Bishop Petrossi smiled warmly and said the person carrying it would occasionally get lost. So that's where the effects of just going anywhere. That's you make up for your downfall, right? You make up for the negative effect. According to what someone told me, one gets lost at random. Lost. I'm a seer with spiritual intuition. Klein mumbled and his mind gradually came to a decision. Yeah, he's completely fine. This is perfect for a seer. After a few seconds, he said, I want the master key. He didn't want his mental state to be affected, and he didn't want to accumulate the risk of losing control. What a pity. What I want the most is that weird candle. It's akin to the deepest part of my soul, the lowest level of a dreamland. That's equivalent to my home ground. He sighed in his heart. All right, Bishop Petrosky handed the simple brass key to Klein and took back the strange candle wrapped in human skin. I lost my place. While Klein was examining the mystical item, Utrosky pointed at the back and said, the apocryphy formula is in that room. I'll go get it. Wait here for a while. Klein nodded in response. Take advantage of the moment when Bishop Utrosky figure disappeared from the hall. He took out a penny and divined if he had been lying about the master key. After receiving an acceptable answer, he walked to the wall in front of him wearing a row... Oh, he didn't believe him. Wearing a row of candles were placed and pressed of the ancient brass key against the hard wall. As he injected spirituality and turned the key, Klein's vision suddenly blurred and became clear. At that moment, there was no longer burning candles filling his vision, nor were there neat views and straight walls. There were only withered grass and muddy land strewn with a bit of garbage. To the side it led out where a gas street lamp stood. I really came out. Klein smiled, nodded, turned. That's so cool. Sorry, I burped. He turned and once again used the master key to successfully return to the cathedral. It would have been fun if he got lost right there. After more than 10 seconds of waiting, Utroski walked in with heavy footsteps and rolled a yellowish-brown goatskin parchment in hand. You can get an appraisal for this. If there's a problem, you can always find me at the Harvest Church. The giant bishop handed the apocryphy formula. Main ingredients: horn of adult flying unicorn, 3 grams... Just like Monster Hunter, bro. Horn of adult flying unicorn, 3 grams of a royal jellyfish venom crystal. Klein swept his gaze, smiled and replied, I will confirm its authenticity. For example, divine it above the grey fog, he added inwardly. Bishop Petrosky nodded slightly, and without another word, he turned around and walked to the Mother Earth's sacred emblem of life. He spread his arms wide and chanted in a low voice, thank you, source of life. Praise you, mother of all things. Bet you can guess which sequence this refers to? What sequence? It's the Door Devil Fruit. Wasn't that a... There was a Door Devil Fruit in One Piece. Yeah! What was his name? Bluno? The dude with the horns. He had the Door Fruit. Yeah! We gonna be dooring through people with this one since Easy keep using it? I lost my place. I understood that reference. Klein's just like me, bro. He's gonna get lost just like me. I understood that reference. Praise you, mother of all things. Klein put away the master key and the apocryphy formula. After Trotsky stopped, he said half jokingly, could it be that my visit was arranged by Mother Earth? I can actually change this now. Hold up. I'll just keep playing this. I'll just play this. Why else would you be thanking her for? The false believer of the Evernight goddess, Klein chuckled inwardly. Yes, everything is arranged by Mother Earth, otherwise my request for help wouldn't have reached your ears. I wouldn't be here in Buckland either, nor would I have obtained this mental terror candle. Buckland Trotsky said with a gentle smile without any sense of anger. Complete and self-considerate consistent believer logic, but Klein suddenly felt that it was impossible to communicate with him. He pressed his hands to his chest, bowed and said, thank you for your generosity, I should leave now. He straightened his body and quickly retreated. He then rapidly disappeared from the main hall of the cathedral and from Rose Street. 10 minutes later, he saw the golden facade of the Harvest Church from another direction, and he couldn't help but twitch his mouth. I can't go back without divination, he suddenly muttered to himself. He really wanted to stubbornly rely on his own ability to overcome the fact that he was lost already. 10 minutes later, he saw the golden... Wait, let me read this. So he went back to the church. 10 minutes later, he saw the golden facade of the Harvest Church from another direction, and he couldn't help but twitch his mouth. I can't go back without divination, he soundly muttered to himself. He really wanted to stubbornly rely on his own ability to overcome the fact that he was lost. But his hand, which was faster than his voice, had broken off the branches of a tree and made a makeshift dowsing rod. The dowsing rod seeking could be used to seek people as well as items and directions. This time, Klein was able to return home without incident, and he even confirmed the authenticity of the formula and the latent dangers of the master key. The next morning, that's so funny, dude. He got lost right away, dude. Literally right away. The next morning was a sunny morning. After waking up, Klein ate breakfast, took out a pen and paper, and wrote a letter to Isengard Stannon, asking him to seek the help from the police to confirm the current status of the few suspects for the he's not... Isengard isn't even a suspect, bro. That's how much of a pro he is. He's good. He's good, dude. He's good. After waking up, Klein ate breakfast, took out a pen and paper, and wrote a letter to Isengard Stannon, asking him to seek help from the police to confirm the current status of the few suspects for the serial murder case from 4 years ago. Back then, the targets were single workers with a child. After folding the letter and stuffing it in an envelope, Klein put on a black stamp which was 1 penny in denomination. Putting on his clothes, he took his hat and cane and he walked out of his house to post the letter in the mailbox at the end of the street. Then he saw Miss Deline Samir and her husband, Mr. Luke, dressed in nines. Dressed to the nines? I don't understand that reference. It's Zoro as a Beyond artifact. This is gonna be so funny seeing Klein get lost. I always find it funny how Zoro gets lost in One Piece, and then he stumbles across like such critical like opponents, or he stumbles across like such important information because he gets lost, or even when he goes in a straight line he gets lost. I find that pretty funny. Even like after like 1,000 chapters, I still find it funny. I can see Klein doing that. Shit, I lost my place again. Oh my god, I'm just like Klein. Oh no, we got lost. Dressed to the nines. A rental carriage was stopped by the door. Good morning. Why are you attending a banquet so early in the morning? Klein asked with some surprise. Luke chuckled and said, it's not really a banquet. It's more like us helping out. Miss Stelline raised her chin slightly and added, Mary has successfully entered the National Atmospheric Pollution Council. There will be a grand ball tonight and we will have to help out in advance. Miss Mary's wishes had been fulfilled. Impressive. Klein signed and said with a smile, please pass my congratulations to Miss Mary for me. Luke Samir nodded and said, you haven't read this morning's paper, have you? All the members of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council have been published. They are really trying to pass this bill. All the members of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council have been published. The chairman of the council is Sir Deer Shaw, and the first secretary is Mr. Hybert Hall. I thought it said Heisenberg. All right, let's keep going, bro. We made it at 3:10. Yes, we will update. Let's update, and let me read some of you guys' messages because I know I kind of fall behind. I see Unhinged also added me. Let's read that quickly. I didn't catch that. Hybert Hall? Fucking is the same surname. We got Audrey Hall. Message retracted. Not his dad. Oh yeah, never mind. I messed that up. His brother, other family. Shit, it's a relative. Oh, wait. It might be one of her 2 older brothers. I know it's okay, I'll be honest. I forgot the dad's name, but I know it wasn't Hybert. This is my first time ever reading the name Hybert. It has to be a relative? Who knows? Quite a mysterious name reveal, right? Who would know? Very mysterious indeed. It has to be one of the 2 brothers. There was one brother that was abroad, and there was one that's in Backland. I think it's the one in Backland. I don't think it's the guy that was abroad that sent the rainbow salamander. It's not the one that sent the rainbow salamander. It has to be the one that's like climbing like the political ranks. Maybe? Because the dad had like bodyguards. Like he ain't got time for this. All the members of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council, he ain't got time for that, bro. He's a busy, powerful man doing other things. The oldest brother, I think it is the oldest brother. Yeah, it's not the guy. It's not the guy that's abroad. Nice catch. I didn't catch that. You guys told me that. Let's see. Oh wait, literally talks about it very next. Sir, Mr. Hybert Hall. Who are they? I don't know them all. Okay, let's keep going. Klein half jokingly. Okay, wait. Let's pause and let's keep going. Chapter 310. And by the way, thank you, man. There's like 30 of you guys that have been here almost this whole time. That's crazy. Sir, I can't even read the name. Sir Durs. How do you pronounce that? Sir D. Shaws. Mr. Hybert Hall. Who are they? I don't know them at all. Acting as though he had no doubts. Klein. Oh, he has no doubts. Klein said half-jokingly, let's hope that they can bring blue skies and sunshine to Backland. Yes, although burning in your own fireplace is everyone's freedom and this is the right granted by the law, blue skies and sunshine are more desirable things. Luke Samir, a member of the Suit Reduction Association, sighed with emotions and pointed to the hired carriage. We should go. Marrying urgency needs some help. Stelline Samir added, feigning a level of restraint, there might be members of parliament coming to the banquets from the Backland district or others from the kingdom. I can imagine the grandeur of this banquet. Klein flattened politely and watched the Samir's board of the carriage and leave. As he turned his head from the post office at the end of the street, a postman in a dark green uniform arrived in a carriage and delivered a letter to his letterbox. A letter for me. Klein pulled out a bunch of keys. Does he take out the master key by accident? And casually chose the one that was simple and had a brass color. Kacha. The master key easily opened the letterbox. I just need to have this key on me in the future. Klein mumbled as he took out the newspapers that he had subscribed to this letter. The letter was from Isengard Stanton. He had also looked through the old and unresolved serial murderers yesterday and had picked out one of the most suspicious ones. And after only one. Very coincidental. Okay. I lost my place. Oh, God, got lost. Confirmed to the police department about the present circumstances of the suspects, he had written to Klein, maybe it's Kazlana, and the other private detectives. It's either Kazlana or it's Isengard. And the other private detectives, they were interested in this angle to share his findings. It includes 2 cases that Klein had focused on. Great detective minds think alike. The letter I wrote just now was nothing. Klein joked before returning to the living room. According to Isengard, the random murder cases, the people who returned later, have resulted in large numbers of suspects, but the suspects have never been narrowed down. After so many years, it was very difficult to almost hopeless to try to find new clues. One of the 4 suspects and the other cases was a teenager whose mother was also victim, a worker and a single mother who'd had him as her only child. He had been abused by his mother, had been the police's first suspect, but less than half a year after the case, he had been seriously injured in a gang firefight in Eastboro and died in a surgical room at a charity hospital. He died in a surgical room at a charity hospital. That sounds intentional, bro. We should probably check the hospital. His body was cremated. Just wipe the evidence. His body was cremated with people being witnesses before being burned in the cemetery. It's him. He faked his death. As such, it was impossible for him to be connected to the current serial killers. It's him. If he had been cremated, I definitely would have dug up the grave to verify it. That's a cop-out. He faked his death all those years ago. So it's not the detectives. Klein, who had once come back from the dead, seriously considered the possibility of other party coming back from the dead. Yeah, wait, I never thought about that. If he can come back, others could potentially come back. Seriously consider the possibility of the other party coming back from the dead. Of the remaining 3 suspects, one have moved several times in the past few years. The police had lost track of his situation and needed more time to find him. Once one had gone through bankruptcy and moved to Eastboro from Northboro, while the other was still running a grocery store on the same street. Klein took out a fresh sheet of paper, described the situation, and then asked the recipient to observe the 2 suspects with specific addresses in secret. I read that wrong. Recipients to observe the 2 suspects with specific addresses in secret. He empathized. The killers of the serial murderers are all cruel, brutal, and very aggressive. But not on the outside. They're going to be like cunning, like a pacifist. Please be careful not to get too close to them. Act as if you're just an ordinary neighbor observing them. The information I need pertains to the recent mental state, such as whether they are irritable, whether they like to shut themselves in their rooms, rarely communicate with others, and whether they have beaten others up. This was also the information he got from the son. After each kill, the devil would have eaten the victim's organs according to the ritual and stay in a bloodthirsty manic state until a new victim appeared. After emphasizing the need to take notes of the investigator safely, Klein folded the letter, stuffed it into a new envelope, and affixed a black stamp to the surface. Then he wrote down the names of the recipient, Detective Stewart. In the Emperor's Borough, the opulent villa of Count Hall, Susie was lying in the corner of the study, looking around as if bored. With a bulging stomach, Count Hall is the dad. There you go, Count Hall. Right? With a bulging stomach, Count Hall took a puff with his pipe and said to his eldest son, "Do you know why I insisted on having you be the national..." So it is the brother. Count Hall is the dad. And I already forgot the brother's name. Shit. Do you know why I insisted on having you be on the National Atmospheric Pollution Council? Oh, Hybert. Hybert Hall replied thoughtfully, "You wish to influence the formulation of the relevant laws and policies." "No, although I'm the 2nd largest shareholder of the Constant Coal and Steel Consortium, I don't really care about this problem. I've been urging them to make adjustments accordingly. I have no doubt that fixing atmospheric pollution is a future trend. Hybert, although our family has fixed seats in the House of Lords, and you will also become a member of Parliament of the House of Lords in times, so why do some nobles have more influence than others when they are all members of Parliament of the House of Lords? Notwithstanding the Speaker and other people with special statuses, Hybert thought for a moment before saying, "The title of nobility, wealth, commercial status, as well as the relationship between the government and the army. This is only a part of it. In addition to the ones that owe the ability to handle matters, people will always rely on those with a rich experience and those who have participated in many similar matters. In the future, if you wish to have an achievement in policies, in addition to inheriting a seat, you will also need to try your best at participating in various matters and display the corresponding capabilities. Gradually, your activity will catch the eye of various members of Parliament. They will slowly find you trustworthy, and that you will be the source of your influence. Look at the current situation of the nobles and the Intis Republic. Hyber, you should understand that with the passage of time and the development of society, the obvious list privileges will be weakened and one's title will become less and less important. It's just a title of honor, and the position of influence of the business world is what you should pay attention to. Count Hall explained in detail. What if you encounter something you aren't good at? Hyber muttered to himself. Then pretend that you can handle it. Don't worry about wasting money. Form professional teams, listen to their opinions, and make decisions. Everyone has a lot of areas that they aren't good at, and only money is multifaceted. Count Hall gave words of advice. Hyber replied in enlightenment, I see, father. Count Hall was her uncle. Oh, it was her uncle. Susie, we love her. White Gravedigger. Audrey is Jack the Ripper. Get out of here. That would be crazy. That would break my heart, man. That would honestly break my heart if, like, a Terror Club member ends up being a bad guy. Okay, boys, stop the information. Keep me on the path, guys. Keep me on the path. Hyber replied in enlightenment, I see, father. At this moment, Susie, who was by her side, yawned in boredom. When it was all over, she slipped into Audrey's art studio, repeated everything she had heard, and finally muttered, I have no idea what they were talking about. Audrey listened to her thoughtfully, then she said with a faint smile, they were discussing a good thing that involved reducing the pungent smell you smell? The pungent smell you smell. Is that so? Sissy asked without fully comprehending it. Please, no. It's not the uncle, not the uncle. No, easy. Don't let them gaslight you. No, it's the dad. I know, no, I know it's the dad. I know it's the dad. No, it is the dad. I know. Did I don't know if I meant, oh yeah, it's the uncle. No, don't listen to the misinfo. Don't listen to the misinfo. Don't listen to the mad ravings. Don't listen to the mad ravings, brothers. Stay in the righteous path. Resist the mad ravings. Is that so? Sissy asked without fully comprehending it. Audrey didn't answer and thought of something else. She had intended to quietly draw attention to the bad conditions of Eastboro, the factory area, and the dock area, but in the last two social gatherings, she found herself unable to find an opportunity. Those nobles, the members of parliament, and the senior civil servants would never even talk about such matters. There was no way to steer them towards the topic, even if she wanted to. On Monday afternoon, Klein returned to 15 Mink Street from the Quillick Club. As a Stewart had yet to provide any results from his preliminary investigation, and since he was temporarily unable to find a suitable candidate to become apocryphy, Klein had nothing to do yesterday and today. Therefore, he simply went to Quilling Club to practice his shooting, read, and get some free food. In the process, he got to know many other members of the club. This is the lifeblood for future business opportunities. Klein signed with emotion, took 4 steps counterclockwise, and went above the gray fog. He went about his preparation step by step, first conjured the fake world, familiarizing himself with the control of the all-black eye. Wait, hold up. What's up with the eye? He went about his preparation step by step, first conjured the fake world, familiarizing himself with the control of the all-black eye, and then sent a message to the sun that the Tarot Club gathering... We're at a meeting already? That the Tarot gathering was about to begin. After all this was done, Clang waited for 3 o'clock to arrive. Then he reached out to touch the corresponding crimson stars and establish a Wait, hold up! This is Four's first chime! This is... Oh, Audrey's gonna be like, oh my god, Four! What's up, baby girl? Yeah! And then when they meet up in real life, they're gonna be like, oh my god, we're part of the same club! And then Audrey's gonna be acting like the senpai. Is like, trust, I knew him from the beginning. Like, if you don't know the original him, I know him. It's gonna be so funny. After all this was done, Klein waited for 3 o'clock to arrive. Then he reached out to touch the... I don't know why I'm so excited for them to, like, girl gossip when they meet up in real life. Then he reached out to touch the corresponding crimson stars and establish a firm connection. The magician had... Her? Magician? Oh, yeah, Force chose magician. Yeah, you're right. I thought there was like another magician. Okay, no, like her title. The book, maybe book 2 is called Audrey Senpai? Tarot Gathering, let's go. I think volume 2 is called Magician. I know maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure somebody read, I'm not saying spoil. I'm pretty sure I've read what volume 2 was called, but I don't remember. Shit, was it? I don't think it was Magician. Volume 2 Magician? I know it was revealed that the volume 2 title doesn't necessarily have to do with Klein's pathway. It's just like the themes around it. Yeah, Magician. Shit, what did he undo? Joshua, I kind of want to peek it. No. Version 2 magician? Wait. I think no, it's okay. What a coincidence. No, maybe? No, it's okay. Alright, now that's cool. Volume 2 is related to clients. Okay. Beast Tamer? Get out of here with that. Shut up. I know it. I know for a fact there's never gonna be a volume called Beast Tamer. Shit, man. I'm still kind of bummed out about that. But I'm hyped. I'm hyped nonetheless. Alright. I won't bring it up. Alright, nah. I know it's not Magician. It's not Magician. I think I know what it is. Fallen Creator? Get out of here with that. Maybe in the future. After all this was done, Klein waited for 3 o'clock. Then he reached out to touch the corresponding crimson stars and establish a firm connection. The Magician had her own illusionary star as well. Under the pretext of concentrating on her writings, 4 walls sent she away, and for a moment she was dazzled by the sudden rush of gray fog. In a blink of an eye, she found herself above the mysterious and serene gray fog. Yeah, she made it. She was inside a majestic palace, and in front of her was an ancient modelized bronze table. Surrounding the table were one blurry figure after another, one figure after another, one figure after another. Are these the gathering members Mr. Fool spoke of? Forrest felt that the members of this secret gathering were all very, very powerful beyond her. She'd be like, what you doing here, Audrey? Girl, what you doing here? You ain't that strong, right? Except for me, she thought without confidence and full of fear. Oh, don't belittle yourself. However, looking at it from another perspective, since I can join this gathering as a Sequence 9, the other members might not necessarily be very strong. The requirement for the gathering is obviously not about strength, but for some other reason, a member must manage to establish a connection to Mr. Fool. Forrest quickly rejected her first judgment and relaxed a little. Wait, I have a question. Is there artwork with her new character design? Because I know her hair is a little bit longer now. Is there new artwork? It's not Magician. Look above my comment. It was deleted, bro. I know it's not Magician now. Yeah, you guys agreed way too fast saying it's Magician. Message deleted by Romero. Volume 2 is called Message Deleted by Romero. There's artwork. Oh shit! You know what? Send me artwork. I want to see what her new character design looks like. I know it's not a spoiler. I know her hair is a little bit longer. It did say that. The requirement for this gathering is obviously not about strength, but for some other reason, a member must manage to establish a connection with Mr. Fool. Forrest quickly rejected her first judgment and relaxed a little. At the same time, Audrey also discovered that there was a new person at today's gathering. It's a woman. Is it Shio or Forrest? Has she passed the examination? Or is it someone else? Audrey nearly forgot to greet Mr. Fool in her bid to take a closer look at the features of the new member. No matter how blurry the figure was, she can still see her hair color. Oh, she doesn't know it's her. She could still see her hair color, silhouette, her accent, and verbal tactics, huh? I must also take note, at the very beginning, Mr. Hangman she doesn't know right away because she looks a little bit different. Mr. Hangman had managed to identify me as a noble from my special pronunciation of certain words and from her habit of using certain special words. Audrey stood up, lifted her skirt, and said to Klein at the end of the long bronze table, "Good afternoon, Mr. Fool." After the greeting, she didn't conceal her curiosity. She looked at the new member who was seated at the same row as her and asked with a smile, "This is?" That's hype. They were like, "Oh my god, girl, like you made it!" Ah! It's so funny, dude. Observing each other. They're trying to one-up each other, see who they are. All right, let's update and let's keep reading, dude. All right, no more stalling. Chapter 311. Look at that, we're doing more than 5. It's called Observing Each Other. Klein sat in the seat belonging to the Fool and looked around. This is Miss Magician, our new member. Then he looked at Forrest and introduced the rest of her. This is Miss Justice and this is Mr. Hangman. As Forrest nodded her head as a form of greeting the members with the corresponding code names, she observed the other members. Miss Justice is blonde and seems very young. She sits with a graceful posture. Mr. Hangman has dark blue hair as messy as seaweeds. He doesn't have very bulky figure. He doesn't like to talk, but when observed by him, it gives me a sense of unease. He must be a leader of some faction. Mr. Sun looks like a teenager. He's very silent and reserved. Other than that, I can tell anyone else. Maybe he's just as weak as me. Mr. World's eyes are very cold and quite gloomy. It's obvious that he isn't someone to be trifled with. As a writer who has written a best-selling novel, she showed her unique traits. While looking at other members, they were all looking at her. Among them, Justice Audrey was the most attentive. From her figure, I can eliminate Miss Shield, brown hair and slightly curled. Is she Madame Force? Temporarily, I can't rule out the possibility that Mr. Fool has pulled in someone else. Huh. Her pronunciation and the way her mouth moves is the same as in Buckland accent. Her aura and emotional colors match as well. It's unlikely that Mr. Fool will specially create a fake image for the members, right? There's no need for him to hide anything. After a few seconds of sizing Force up, Audrey had nearly superimposed the blurry figure with her impressions of Force. If I can find another trait in other areas, I can almost be certain. She waited with interest to verify the beyond her powers. At the same time, she felt that there was no need to reveal her identity to Force. It would be better to keep some secrets. Yes, let's see when she's gonna play it off. Let's see when she finds out. Audrey withdrew her gaze, producing a faint smile on her face as she quietly watched from the sidelines. At that moment, since there was no new Roselle diary entries, Klein controlled the world and said, I want to know about the Devil and Guardian sequences. He was certain that the Sun knew the deities of Sequence 6 devils because he had previously mentioned the devil studies, and in order to not expose the fact that he was investigating a series of murders, he had deliberately added the Sequence 5 Guardians of the God of Combat pathway, also known as the Giant pathway. It was the mainstream pathway for Beyonders in the City of Silver, so it was impossible for the Sun to be unaware of it. As for the corresponding Sequence 9 warriors, Sequence 8 pugilist, and Sequence 7 weapon master, Klein had long since learned of the details from the Nighthawk's confidential information. As for information regarding Sequence 6 Dawn Paladin, he had just learned of its information from Bishop Utrowski. Therefore, the only thing that he could ask about and be willing to pay for the price without wasting money for Sequence 5 Guardian. In addition, he didn't directly ask the Sun, but instead issued the request to everyone, because according to the way things have developed, it was impossible for the world who had just joined the Terror Club to know that the City of Silver held a giant pathway. If it's just the Devil sequence, I know a little bit about it. Alger, who was just standing in the Church of the Lord of Storms, interjected. Derek Berg glanced at him without a thought, straightened his back and said, I'm very knowledgeable about these two sequences. The payment I want is information related to the Fallen Order. The equivalence of the two pieces of information will be determined by Mr. Fool. Having said that, he realized that he had not received Mr. Fool's agreement as he hurriedly turned his head to Mr. Fool to make the request reverently. Son, don't blame me. You were the one who made the request. The corners of Klein's mouth twitched slightly as he said with a chuckle, sure. Furthermore, when it comes to understanding of the true creator, none of the ladies and gentlemen present can compare to me. He added boldly in his heart. While they were discussing this matter, the magician Force was stunned upon hearing this confirmation. The devil sequence is the devil. The devil sequence? What do you mean? How did you not know that? Oh, dang, I was able to catch a stream. Hey, what's up? Long time no see, Luminia. Oh my, I said your name wrong. I apologize. Oh no? Oh, dang, was it? Wait, what do you mean? Oh no, what? Oh man, I missed the introduction of the GOAT, Mr. World. Have you now? Has it been that long, Plastic January? Really? You missed? Do you miss the intro? Oh, when he popped out right here. Furthermore, when it... Oh, I just read this. The devil sequence is the devil pathway. Which sequence number is it? What is the guardian pathway? Which sequence number is it? I've never heard of it. Fallen creator, the true creator. God, they are actually exchanging information regarding the true creator. That deity is known as the most ancient and powerful existence among the deities. What kind of organization did I join? After receiving a positive reply from the Fool, the world said without any hesitation, deal. I request a private exchange. I really want to hear it. However, I need to be frugal for the time being. There are still 2 more months until the new year. Endure it, Audrey. Audrey blinked her eyes, reluctantly withdrawing her gaze from the Sun. Their sights, visions, and spirituality were then shielded by Klein. The world quickly lowered his head and wrote on a conjured sheet of paper his own understanding of the true creator, including the standard likeness such as the hanged giant, the eye behind the shadow curtains, including the information that the members of the Aurora Order believed that this evil god was the original creator of everything. At the end, Klein had included his impression of the evil gods through the interaction with the evil god Spawn, the sensation of the deity's aurora, and the sensation when listening to the true creator's voice. Fallen, twisted, bloody, crazy, evil. Then as Mr. Fool, he gave a comment. This piece of information is slightly more valuable than the information regarding the devil, the guardian sequence, but the difference isn't that huge. Thank you, Mr. Fool. Derek earnestly received the piece of goat skin and read through it carefully a few times. My goat, my people. Hi, how are you? Just got a little busy with life. That's all. No, it's all good. It happens. We all have our IRL stuff. Hey, I hope you did good. I mean, I was gone for 2 weeks. I had the time of my life in Japan. But I hope you guys are all doing good. I know life can be hard sometimes, but you know that one saying, you gotta power through, perseverance. and tune into the stream so we can hang out and have fun. And then everything will be daijobu. Thank you, Mr. Fool. I think I skipped a line, so I'm gonna go back. Then at Mr. Fool, well, I skipped another line. I skipped another line. At the end, Klein had included his impression of the evil god through his interaction with the evil god spawn, the sensation of the deities aura, and the sensation while listening to the true creator's voice. Fallen, twisted, bloody, crazy, evil. Then as Mr. Fool, he gave a comment, this piece of information is slightly more valuable than the information regarding the Devil Garden sequences, but the differences isn't that huge. Thank you, Mr. Fool. Derek earnestly received the piece of goat skin and read through it carefully a few times. The thing he was most concerned about was that the true creator was known as the creator of everything. Twisted, fallen, crazy, Derek repeated the words vaguely, able to see the dark tragedy that had been engulfed by everyone in the city of Silver for more than 2,000 years. Did the Lord not abandon us? It's just that he had gone mad. Derek found himself able to resist using blasphemous thoughts to examine the Lord that created everything, the omnipotent and omniscient God who had worshipped by the city of Silver. It's time for you to answer my question, the world urged in a hoarse voice. Derek restrained his seething and sorrowful thoughts and said after 2 seconds of silence, when different species of creatures consume devil's potions, they will experience different types of mutation. Wait, let me read this again. When different species of creatures consume the devil potion, they will experience different types of mutations. They will have traits that are unique to them. What kind of devil would you like to know about? There are certainly distinctions. Klein was puzzled. He soon realized one thing. There was a blind spot in his thought process. What if the serial killer wasn't a human but an animal? What if the serial killer wasn't a human but an animal? What? After consuming the corresponding potion... Oh. After consuming the corresponding potion, it could transform into a devil animal. Like a hellhound? So it's like if Susie became a hellhound. I literally say Susie and I hear Ellie barking. That's so funny. That was perfect timing. After consuming the corresponding potion, it could transform into a devil animal. Step by step, one sequence at a time, it will turn into a devil. Although the probability of an animal losing control far exceeds that of a human, that's why it's taking him so longer. It was still not enough to deal with what ifs. I have to investigate this, but in any case, there will be more questions. When did the devil mutate from an animal? Obtain the potion and Beyonder ingredients. It should be impossible for it to join Beyonder circles. I don't know, man. We got Susie. If Wait. Romero's angry? What'd I miss? Look at Wind Valley's message. What'd I miss? What'd I miss? I missed something? Wind Valley? It was what? Your animation preview reaction video was pulled on Billy Chinese YouTube? And someone did Chinese subtitles. Chinese Elotin fans know who you are. Shut up. There's no fucking way. I lost my place to skip a line. Wait, what? Wait. No fucking wait. How do I see that? How do I look at that? Mr. Worldwide? Hell yeah, Mr. Worldwide. Wait, how do I watch that? Wait, hold up. I never told you guys this, but when I was in Japan, I did an interview for a Japanese YouTube channel. I gotta look and see if he uploaded the review. I think I have his name screenshot. Go to Billy. We're going to it after this chapter. I can link it in Discord. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. We're almost done with this chapter. There's like 2 paragraphs left. I want to look at that. That sounds so cool. Unfortunately, we can't since we're in the US. Shit. Wind Valley said he can link it. I can still peek, right? LOL. That's so cool. I want to take a look at that. That's so random. I'm over here blushing. All right, wait, let's finish and let's take a look at that. No way. After consuming the corresponding potion, it could transform into a devil animal. So there's another dog that's like Susie. There's another like intellectual dog that can speak. Just use a VPN. I will get a VPN just to look at that. I will find out how to do a VPN just so I can peek at that. After consuming the corresponding potion, it can transform into a devil animal. Step by step, one sequence at a time, it will turn into a devil. Although the probability of an animal losing control far exceeds that of humans, it was still not enough to deal with what ifs. I have to investigate this, but in that case, there would be more questions. Were that the devil mutated from an animal, obtained the potion and Beyonder ingredients?
It should be impossible for it to join beyond our circles. Klein maintained his silence and manipulated the world to say, "What I want to know is the common trait of all kinds of devils." Derek recollected and organized his knowledge before saying, "The most frightening thing about a devil is that if you cause lethal damage to it in a very short period of time and take action to put it into practice, then he can sense, notice, and grasp where the danger comes from and who it comes from, and then selectively kill or seek revenge on them." You put the link? Bet. I'll look at it right now. Or a bird? Why a cat? It could be a bird or a cat. Shh, hold up, man. Wait, you're telling me we got a bird killer? Or a cat serial killer? Maybe it's a lion. A turtle devil? Shut up. That'd be so funny if it's the turtle devil. Cat the drunk, the witch potion cat girl. Hold up. We're getting somewhere. Hold up. Wait. We're getting somewhere, Romero. And this period of time varies within a few minutes to a day. Different devils have different instincts. We're almost done with the chapter. This ability is a little scary. However, it's different from a clown's intuition. It doesn't seem like it can be used in combat, but instead detect the sources of danger ahead of time. It's closer to the whim ability that I've read in Shia novels in my previous life. Wait, by the way, if I can't access it, if somebody has access, can they screen record it and then link it in the Discord? Like, if I can't open it, if somebody that has a VPN, if they're able to screen record that, at least so I can watch the clip, link it in the Discord. That'd be really cool. Reread paragraph. I know, I think I did reread it. My bad. It's closer to the whim ability I've read in Shia or She novels in my previous life. I don't know if I can interfere or even block this intuition in my previous space above the grave fog. Would Stuart end up in danger? Klein leaned back into his chair, seemingly uninterested in the subject of the discussion between the sun and the world. Seeing that the world didn't show any signs of surprise, Derek continued, "They all possess the ability to gigantify their bodies and thus break free from their bindings, temporarily increasing their strength and speed. Their skin is mutated, equivalent to wearing a layer of hard armor. Their blood and flesh can act as a retardant and reduce damage. They're immune to the most toxic and not fear curses or flames to a certain degree. They have an innate flame and corruption type spells. They're cold-blooded, don't panic, don't feel fear, and have a strong ability when it comes to physical combat. They're also adept at using various items to inflict damage." Okay, we're almost done. Okay, alright. Their greatest weakness is that they tend to lose control. Even if they don't, they will often display cold-blooded and cruel madness, being easily controlled by the desires such as bloodlust and murderous intent. That sounds scary. Really strong as expected of a sequence 6 devil. Could it be that among the 22 beyond our paths below high sequences, sequence 6 or sequence 7 are the thresholds of qualitative change? In this respect, different sequences differ. Thus, they have become the dividing lines between ancient and modern mid-sequence. Klein controlled the world and said, "I'm very satisfied with your information." That's hype. I can send you a JPEG of each frame if you want. Yeah, that can work too. Yeah, I'm down. 200 bucks, it doesn't know what he's reading. I'll be honest, it's always over crazy cat. I understood that part. It's always overwhelming when I read new info that I feel like I have to reread it off stream at least. But this is kind of wild. So at this point in like sequence 6 or 7, this is like the threshold. Like this is where they have like physical changes, right? This is wild. I don't know. This is kind of scary. Like I'm kind of hyped to see how he acts when he reaches faceless, right? Because that's sequence 6. That would be the same threshold. It's ability where they can sense danger very early before an attack even happens. It's kind of like his clairvoyance. But he said it's like it's different, right? It's like a whim. It's kind of like his where he has auto divination, right? Romero game. I didn't ignore Romero. Like some devils. No, I didn't ignore it. I put the link in general. Like some devils will sense danger weeks in ahead. Oh, weeks in ahead. Oh, that's a lot. I didn't even realize that. Okay, fucking Klein only has like a few seconds. Hold up, he has to level up quickly. Derek didn't act modestly. He nodded and said, "Guardians seldom suffer from damage. Once they enter a defensive state and give up attacking, few can break through their defenses below that of a high sequence. It's the same for numerous type of damage. When they attack, their corresponding defense will decrease significantly, but it will be stronger than full body armor. There's okay, now I'm getting lost. Hold up, this is getting overwhelming. Their Sword of Dawn and their Hurricane of Light, as well as their other Beyonder powers. Oh wait, no, this is from the fight. As well as their other Beyonder powers allow them to deal damage to any type of monster. Yeah, so he's just revealing everything he learned from the fight, from the Mr. Chad, the one and only. They're not confused by illusions. They can help their comrades within certain range by taking damage and protecting them. Following the description given by Derek, Klein couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Compared to the Guardian, a Dawn's Paladin... oh no, it's not Dawn Paladin, it's a Guardian. Compared to a Guardian, a Dawn Paladin's defense is like that of a child versus adult. A Guardian will probably be able to withstand the bullets of a steam rifle. In the wars of this era, they wouldn't die unless they were focused on by large caliber cannons, like the warships. Update chapter. Okay, let's update and let's take a look. Wait, hold up. Guardian is different. This is complete. What is this? Is this something else? Guardian and Dawn Paladins are two different things. Mr. Chad. It was Mr. Chad. Guardian is sequence 5. So it's sequence 5. Yeah, so it's different. Okay, I thought like a Dawn Paladin eventually becomes a Guardian. Yeah, my bad. They said earlier it was a different sequence. Okay, got it. It gets kind of overwhelming sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you just get like it's not like you're getting bombarded by info, but like when it all happens at once, I'm like, whoa, I gotta slow down a bit. Dawn Paladin was sequence 6. Okay, and Guardian was sequence 5 of Warrior. Not different oh, so it is same part. Oh, thank you. Okay, it's same pathway, but just different sequence. Same pathway, but different sequence. Guardian is the evolution of Paladin. Holy shit, dude. That sounds busted. Imagine if he fought him as a Paladin. I mean, not as a Paladin, as a Guardian. Bro, every time. It's kind of hard. Shield Bearer is sequence 5. Was that a different name? Shield Bearer. Was that the old name? Oh, here. Let's pause, update, and let's quickly take a look at Discord. All right. Chapter 312. That was really cool, by the way, that we're on Billy. Chapter 312 is called A Failed Disguise. When Derek finished, Klein manipulated the world to nod and say, more detailed than I thought. Transaction complete. Before the world finished his sentence, Klein had simultaneously removed the bearers insulting justice, the hangman, and the magician. After a few seconds of silence, the world looked around and said with a dark smile, I don't have any more requests for now. Having a rough understanding of the process and its characteristics, 4 was eager to purchase the corresponding sequence 8 trick master of the apprentice sequence. She clearly remembered that Mr. Full had said that the reason she was troubled by the full moon was due to her low natural order of life, and that the pain would decrease with the rise of her sequence. This made 4s eager to obtain the next formula, however, it would expose the Beyonder pathway I'm from. When everyone becomes familiar with each other and knows more about each other, exposure would become less of a serious matter. However, for the next few gatherings, I have to conceal that so that the members of the gathering won't be able to identify the real me. After thinking rather calmly for a moment, 4 said, I wish to obtain the formula of the Apocryphy and Trick Master. I will pay in cash. She initially added the Apocryphy formula to her actual request in order to cause the others to have a misinterpretation. Klein already has it. The studio who made King's Avatar is behind the... No, I know, that's why. Yeah, I know. That's why I find it so cool, Wind Valley. Yeah, it's the same studio from King's Avatar. Yeah, I remember hearing that a long time ago, and I'm like, bro, that's like the only Dunkwat I've ever watched. Romero will get sick, and Easy Geeky will make me mod. We're reading as it's written. He will be sick in a week, as it's been foretold. Oh shit, dude. Oh, that's so funny. She initially added to the Apocryphy formula to her actual request in order to cause the others to have it, as it's been written, to cause the others to have a misinterpretation. If any members of the gathering really had the formula, she would still take it. She could then sell it to a higher price to Viscount Glaint, who had been longing for this formula for a long time. In any case, she definitely wouldn't suffer a loss because of this and might even make a huge profit. As for the money, Forbes wasn't short of it for the time being. Not only were the royalties of her best-selling book entering into her account over time, it was accumulating to quite a sizable amount. Furthermore, she had also additional income streams, such as the £650 she received from Miss Audrey in the Quillingus and Intis and Backerland case. Poor Shio, she spent more than £200 to compensate the families of the 2 deceased, which were evolved in the Lenevus case. I wonder if Miss Audrey would pay her when things clear up. The note with Mr. Fool's honorary name on it was found in the bookcase of Viscount Glyn's house. Could it be that one of his ancestors were a member of this gathering? Is this a gathering that had been held regularly for decades, if not centuries? Forrest's thoughts were suddenly a little distracted, only 2 seats away from her, just as Audrey was a little stunned when she heard Forrest's request for the Apocryphy and Trickmaster formula before she actually grasped Forrest's thoughts. She's Forrest, the Trickmaster is for herself, and the Apocryphy formula is to be sold to Glenn. Damn, she is good, dude. She can also do this to complicate the situation, and fool the others. Audrey nodded indiscriminately and was more certain of the magician's identity. Damn, she's good. She's not of a very high sequence, at least 8, most likely 9. Who knows where Mr. Fool pulled her from, or if she's from a special place. Her accent has been peculiar of Backland, but she's not necessarily in Backland. The hangman Olger was also observing the newcomer, making sure that she wasn't a threat to him. The son Derek didn't think too much. He's just chilling. The son Derek didn't think too much about it. He was just trying to guess whether Miss Magician belonged to the city of Silver, or if she was from the world where Miss Justice and the others lived. Klein cast a look on the pity of Miss Magician, not expecting much from her attempt to conceal her identity. When you meet a telepathist who is very familiar with you, you might not be able to conceal your true thoughts, even if you know the other party's ability beforehand, and are on guard against it. What's more, you didn't even know anything. The fool Klein sighed in his heart for Miss Magician. At the same time, he controlled the world, who said hoarsely, I have the Apocryphy formula, 230 pounds. As for the Trickmaster formula, I'll do my best to find it, but I can't guarantee success. There was no contradiction between exchanges, the Apocryphy formula for money and using it to groom a useful helper. They could be run in conjunction, so Klein made the world speak first so as to not be intercepted by the hangman or the sun. As for the formula for Trickmaster, who only had some identities, from his point of view, the mystical item Master Key was most likely related to corresponding sequence of a Trickmaster corresponding to sequence 9. The Master Key is related to that? Trickmaster's corresponding sequence 9 apprentice. If he were able to dive its origins above the Grey Fog, he might be able to find some clues. Oh, he can find some clues for Trickmaster. Well, actually, the most convenient way is to ask the existence of the suspected to be the Mr. Door, who keeps murmuring during a full moon, in addition to asking for help. Wait, I'm sorry. I don't know if this has been revealed. How is he coming to the assumption that the Mr. Door has something to do during the full moon? Well, actually, let me reread this. Well, actually, the most convenient way is to ask the existence suspected to be Mr. Door, who keeps murmuring during the full moon. How did he come to a conclusion that Mr. Door is like doing the murmurings during a full moon? Like, how did he come to that decision? I don't remember how, or if it hasn't been revealed, that's cool. We'll find out. Because it's when Mr. How do I, like, was that revealed that that's when he's most active? From the diary? Oh, Roselle said I didn't even remember that. Roselle said he's closer to Earth during the full moon and Ford gets hit at the same time. Okay, because Force is being affected during the full moon, it's suspected that Mr. Door has something to do. Okay. Roselle said that he's closer to Earth during the full moon. Oh my god. Because when Forrest gets to the Grey Fog, her chair shows a bunch of doors. What is he cooking? Was I even cooking? I wasn't cooking. I didn't cook anything. It was just a question. If I cooked, hell yeah, dude. Amen. Instant noodle? I'll take it. Wait, let's pause this. And I lost my point as I resumed the recording. I feel kind of offended that you said instant noodles when you thought I was when I wasn't cooking. As for the formula for Trickmaster, he only has some ideas. I just read this. In addition to asking for help, he probably provides formulas and the acting method so as to make the target stronger and complete difficult tasks. Unfortunately, before the target is strong, they can't even hear his ravings. They will break down and even be close to losing control. This results in a vicious cycle, Klein lamented. Instead of responding to Mr. World's words, Forrest looked around and saw that the hangman, Justice, and the Sun had no intention of opening their mouths. Bro, burnt water? I've actually burnt water once. Yeah, maybe. It was obvious that they didn't know the Apocryphy and Trickmaster's formulas. Mr. World, please try your best to find the Trickmaster formula as soon as possible. Forrest fell silent for a few seconds before saying, as for the Apocryphy formula, I plan to buy it now. How should I make the payment? The other party seemed to be a man from the low end as well, and he's willing to accept gold pounds. But the gold pounds have always been more recognized than the other currencies. As she spoke, Forrest was also trying to determine the world's background. Dora completely didn't mind her sizing him up, and he said softly, "You can sacrifice the money to Mr. Fool after return. That way the transaction will be closed." The exact sacrificial is sacrifice. She's all scared. Mr. Fool can still accept sacrifices. His life natural order has reached such a level. No wonder he used the tone to describe the owner of the ravings during the full moon. Forrest listened and remembered, surprised and shocked, but she also felt that it was a matter of course. After finishing his description, Klein displayed the apocryphy formula in front of the world, and he had a fake person handed to Miss Magician. The transaction is witnessed by Mr. Fool, so you don't have to worry if it's fake. I trust Mr. Fool. Forrest nodded immediately. She spread open the formula and began memorizing it seriously. At that moment, Audrey, who couldn't bear to see her friend go through such labor, commented, "You can seek Mr. Fool's help during the sacrifice to recall the formula. You don't have to memorize it specifically. If you encounter any problems, you can also pray to him by reciting his honorable name." Him, Miss Justice is actually using a salutation used to describe deities to address Mr. Fool. Him? Could it be that he... everybody's saying he. Who is he? Wait, rhetorical question. Hold up. That was a rhetorical question. I don't want to know. Sup? What's up, San? Who is he? Who is him? Yo, San. We made it on Billy, bro. We're on the official Chinese, like, YouTube version. It's Klein's dad? Ah, why, yes, he is Klein's dad. Back home. Yeah, he's still probably... You know what's crazy? You know how I mentioned the whole time travel thing, that like he can't do it yet? What if one day he goes back to that dinner table scene that we saw, like a brief, like we saw like one single frame during that trailer? Is not a spoiler. Using a capital for pronounced means you talk about sacrificial beings. You're right. Thank you. You refer to like higher beings as like him, he, she, right? Okay. The word may be different for... Okay. Alright, I get it. That's pretty cool. Can't stay because I'm super tired. No, it was cool, man. Hey, yo, man. You enjoy your day. You enjoy your day or night, San. Thank you for tuning in for a bit. It's not a spoiler. Still good to see you, San. Hell yeah, it's good to see you. Since it's Chinese, the word may be different. He, God. Okay, so it's like a higher being. Okay. Him is just... Oh, wait, I read this. Could it be that he is really a he? But why would he be willing to help us in doing such trivial matters? That's not right. As long as the ritualistic magic is done, the 7 Orthodox gods will also often respond to their believers and complete their requests. Force to Justice, thank you for telling me that. Your name is just like your character. Audrey suddenly felt a little guilty. She suddenly seemed to recall a problem and she hurriedly asked, "Miss Magician, do you know of the acting method?" Ooh, she spilled the beans right away. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for example, Romero, Provoker. Yo, man, he's gonna time you out on his. You better be careful. He might time you out with that message. I wouldn't be surprised. Sequence 9 appearance has powers related to Door, so Mr. Door might be a very high sequence beyonder of the apprentice pathway. Okay. Yeah, so it's like he is trying to communicate with people on that pathway. Wait, so does that imply... Oh, wait, that implies that Mr. Door... No, that's not a spoiler. No, I'm never... I will not feel... No, it's not a spoiler. We know that Mr. Door is more connected during a full moon, and he's... Klein mentioned it, that he might be speaking to them in order to like fulfill their requests, right? It's not like he would go to like a Nighthawk member. He will only go to people of his like pathway. So that implies that Mr. Door would be not an Orthodox god, but he would be like a high deity of sequence 0. Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of hype. So he might actually be a lot stronger than I think he is. That's kind of exciting. That sounds cool. Acting method. Force looked at Justice in the Days. So he would be part of the moon? And maybe Mr. Door is like a bad guy? No, or maybe it's like some crazy like FF14 thing where like he's like holding like a Zodiac equivalent, right? Or he's like the Heidelin to Zodiac. No. We'll find out. Acting method. Sorry. Okay, I won't talk about that. Mr. Doors X Mr. Fool. Mr. X Mr. Acting method. Forrest looked at Justice in a daze. She soon discovered that the other members, such as the Sun and the Hangman, had no additional reaction to the term. Clearly, they knew what it meant. Today's gathering makes me feel like a country bumpkin who had just arrived in Backland. I've been to so many Beyond the gatherings at the very least. Alright, Forrest thought half sorrowfully, half joyously. She couldn't help but want to write a novel with a feeling of hers naming it Miss Wall's Tours a Dreamland. You don't seem to know. Audrey made a definite judgment based on Forrest's reaction and her usual performance. She turned around and looked at the person shrouded in a gray fog at the end of the long table. Mr. Fool, can I teach the active method to Miss Magician? If so, what price would she have to pay? Audrey had intended to ask directly if it was like before, trading the information for entries of Roselle diaries. However, she quickly remembered that there was a great overlap between Beyonder circles of Forrest and her own. Therefore, if she did, she might lose many opportunities of obtaining Roselle diaries. It is not a very important problem, since it's just a matter of time before Forrest realizes that Mr. Fool wants Roselle diaries. And I would certainly have other Beyonder circles. However, she knows that I have a few pages of Roselle diaries, and if she wants to collect them, she will come to me immediately. However, damn, this is like 3D chess. However, Mr. Fool has read all of those diary entries. After this gathering, I have to find a chance to tell Forrest that all the result diary pages were accidentally lost. Audrey predicted the chain of events and tried her best to convey her concerns to Mr. Fool in body language. What's Miss Justice hinting at? If she knows Forrest, but she doesn't want to reveal her identity, which means that this is literally 3D chess. What's Miss Justice hinting at? Oh, she knows Forrest, but she didn't want to reveal her identity, which means she doesn't want the payment I request to cause any troubles in that regard. Klein thought she read her body language so easily. You can make the decision. You can do the explanation, since I do not wish to repeat what I've said in the past. That's a good excuse. This is also a form of respect to the goddess, he added inwardly. Praise Mr. Fool. Audrey's heart leapt in joy. She straightened her back and slightly raised her chin. She tried to look at Forrest in a different manner, and she said, the acting method is a method to speed up the mastery of potions and minimize the risk of losing control. Do you want to know about it? There's such a method for real. Mr. Fool is such a lofty figure, so he definitely wouldn't lie about such a small matter. Forrest widened her somewhat languid eyes, pursed her lips, and said yes. As long as one was a Beyonder, there was no way that they wouldn't wish to learn of similar methods. Forrest suddenly felt thrilled. Audrey thought carefully and said, there are two requirements. One, without permission of Mr. Fool, you're not to teach the acting method to others. The second is to pay 200 pounds. Her original plan was to use result diaries as the benchmark for the price. The number of pages she and the Hangman had used to repay the debt had been converted into the corresponding price, but in reality, result diaries was sold cheaply because they couldn't be deciphered, and most of the time it was impossible to determine which was real. Converting that to a total price was quite a letdown to the value of the acting method. Therefore, she added a little more from the benchmark. If Mr. Foolador is no longer short of money, then I will take the 200 pounds, and I will look for the diary entries to repay my debt to Mr. Fool. Audrey had already thought of a follow-up deal. 200 pounds. The method to reduce the risk of losing control is 200 pounds. She's like, that's a deal. That's way too cheap, isn't it? Fearing that Justice would go back on her word, the surprised and happy Forrest said without hesitation, deal. After she finished speaking, she felt her heart pain for money. She felt that her bank balance was increasing at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. She's like, shit, like maybe this was a bad idea. Update? Yeah, let's update. Let's update and let's continue. You know what? So far, I really like how Audrey and Forrest are communicating with each other, but Forrest hasn't figured it out yet. I like the idea when like characters start overlapping in like each other's worlds. I find that it is a fucking pyramid scheme. It is a pyramid scheme, dude. You're right. But I've always liked it in series. Like it doesn't like not just Lord of Mysteries. Like in any other series, I like it when like a character's world overlaps with another character's world, like their personal lives and their real world. Like I like it when they intertwine, and I'm really looking forward to the day where Mr. Fool and Klein's world they mix with like Audrey, Olga, and Forrest. Like I'm excited to see when like they find out who they are in real life. Did someone mention something? No. Wait, hold up. No, it's not illegal. Did you not watch The Office with Michael Scott? Actually, no, yeah. Remember it's funny? He's like, wait, when Jim is like, that's a pyramid scheme, he's like, no, and then he draws out a pyramid. Yeah. Audrey's drawing out the pyramid. She put fours here. She's in the middle and then climbs up the top, dude. Petition for another mod. Romero is the only one active right now. I vote for DSV or Misty or me. I doubt the last one though. I doubt that last one though. I was thinking about that. I feel like we might need another one soon. I'll probably well yeah we'll talk it over. Yeah, no, I know. We probably are gonna need another one soon. Are you gonna head out? Oh wait, here, let's pause and update. All right, we didn't stall for who knows how long. He understands it now. Okay, chapter 313, and we're almost at 40 people. Thank you guys. It's called The Ancient Deities. Audrey was about to apply. I did do timestamp. Audrey was about to apply for a private exchange when she suddenly discovered one thing. The world who was seated at the other end of the long bronze table didn't show any interest in the acting method at all. He didn't even have the urge to ask about it. He already know about the acting method, or did he consult Mr. Fool privately? Audrey mumbled to herself, still cautiously asking for a private meeting. Then looking at Mr. Fool. Oh. Klein slipped up. He slipped up a little. Then looking at 4, she said in the mid. I think Klein may have messed up a little bit. Then does he already know about the acting method, or did he consult Mr. Fool privately? Audrey mumbled to herself, still cautiously asking for a private meeting. Then looking at 4, she said in a measured voice, in both her choice of a word and pronunciation, our attitude towards potions isn't about grasping them, but rather it's about digesting them. The key to digesting is to act, and the key to acting is the corresponding potion name. Why? Wait, what? The key to digesting is to act, and the key to acting is the corresponding potion name. Why? Blurted Force. Why? After a moment of deliberation, she added another question. Then how should one act? Audrey recalled Mr. Fool's pose and examples, repeating the description of the castle, the guards, the invitation, the disguise, and finally saying in short, the goal of acting is to reconcile the body, heart, and soul, bypassing the stubborn resistance of the remnant headstrong psyche of the potion so as to assimilate and digest it. As a fiction writer, Forrest had a strong imagination. After justice was done with her description, she had already sketched out the corresponding scenes in her mind, and she had basically understood what justice was trying to convey. Is that so? So this is how you eliminate the remnant psyche influences in the potion and reduce the risk of losing control. The more I think about it, the more I feel that this is possible. The bewilderment in her mind gradually lessened, and the feeling of surprise slowly filled her heart. Finally, she asked for confirmation. Was this taught by Mr. Fool? Yes, if it's not for Mr. Fool, we might have already lost control. Our continued existence is proof of the acting method effectiveness, just as praised from the bottom of her heart. Forrest exhaled and felt her future brighten with hope. Could this be the fortunate encounter described in all kinds of novels? This feels so good. However, I shouldn't be careless. Mr. Fool might be a malicious evil god with deep secrets. If only you knew. He's just an average Joe. He's just a keyboard warrior, as he said, from China, and he's just trying to find a way back home. Well, they don't know that yet. They think it's he, dude. Immediately, she began to think about an even more important question: how to act as an apprentice. Just from the word alone, apprentice means that one's skills are not mature enough in various aspects. Does this mean that one should accept guidance and focus on studying? One shouldn't flaunt on superiority and be more arrogant, and one has to understand the insignificance of their own strength. Force quickly let her thoughts wander and didn't realize that the environment for individual communication had been discontinued. At that moment, the son Derek looked around silently, gritted his teeth, and said, I want to know which 7 gods you are talking about and the general situation regarding them. He couldn't help but ask this question that he had been plaguing his mind for a long time. I know that. Audrey almost failed to react at first, but she quickly figured out that the son was asking and raised her right hand slightly. He's just like, I'll go. At the same time, the hangman in the world also indicated that they could answer. What are they doing? Forrest looked out blankly, trying to remember what had just happened. After a moment, she remembered the son question. She began running over the implied meaning behind the words. It can't be. He actually doesn't know about the 7 gods. Where did he come from? Oh, she even has questions herself. Who's heading out? Oh, take care, Cammy. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, dude. I know today's been a pretty long stream, dude. Yeah. Check the wiki. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about. Okay. Yeah, take care, man. I don't know what we're checking on the wiki, but I won't read just to be safe. It can't be. He actually doesn't know about the 7 gods. Where did he come from? Forrest looked at Mr. Sun, who was just a teenager. In the northern continent, other than the incessable children... What? insensible children. There wasn't anyone who didn't know about the 7 orthodox deities. Even the poor who struggled to survive and trample were no exception. To them, the occasional free food offered by the cathedrals was so tempting that the workhouse was a flame of desire. People from the southern continent colonies, however, there's no need for him to ask such a simple question. Just find a cathedral and ask a pastor or a priest to preach a ceremony, and you'll be able to figure out the relevant content. Where does the sun actually live? What a freak. Forrest looked from side to side while mumbling to herself, but Miss Justice, Mr. Hangman, and Mr. World weren't surprised. At that moment, the fog immersed Klein saw that there were 3 people eager to answer. He smiled and said, Mr. Sun, who do you want to trade with? What are you willing to pay? The son Derek pursed his lips and thought for a few seconds. I'll trade with each of them individually. Only then can I obtain the most comprehensive information. In the harsh environment of the city of Silver, Derek had matured quite a bit from his previous patrols and clearance You know what's crazy? Theory crafting. There's going to be like some origin of the 7 orthodox gods from the city of Silver. Like he's going to be able to piece together like, oh, maybe like the Evernight goddess is related to this individual, like under a different name. Calling little son freak. I know that kind of broke my heart. I'm waiting for her to call him little son. I'm waiting. Who knows? Bro's cooking. We'll find out. Only then can I obtain the most Let me reread this. The most comprehensive information. In the harsh environment of the city of Silver, Derek had matured quite a bit from the previous patrols and clearance operations. He paused for a moment before requesting, the reward is that you can ask me a question, the kind that I can answer. I agree. I'm very interested in the city of Silver. Audrey smiled faintly without any hesitation. City of Silver, where is this place? Why haven't I heard of it? Forrest looked around blankly, feeling completely at a loss as to what... She's so overwhelmed. She thought she knew it all, feeling completely at a loss as to what they were talking about. Audrey glanced at her and kindly explained, Mr. Sun is neither in the northern country nor southern continent, nor is he on an island in the ocean. The city of Silver is located outside of our understanding. Wait. I was under the impression he was on like some random island in the ocean. But they can't confirm that. The city of Silver is located outside of our understanding. Wait, I think this was mentioned. The city of Silver is the Forsaken Lands. So the Forsaken Lands lies in its own realm. Just like the Grey Fog is its own realm. I think that was said. The Forsaken Lands is its own realm similar to the Grey Fog, right? Maybe? No? Like not like physically, right? But like it's its own domain. Or you can say that he is beyond the limits of our exploratory effects. Okay. Are you kidding me? Forrest subconsciously had this thought. However, with this thought, based on the sun's performance and the fact that it was impossible that the others were ganging up to cheat her, Forrest quickly accepted Audrey's explanation. The secret gathering is even more incredible than I thought. Mr. Fool is more powerful than I thought. Forrest exhaled silently and sighed with emotion. Audrey vaguely read her thoughts, and for a moment, she was tempted to flaunt about how the depths of Rear Admiral Quillingus she's trying to show off, into Ambassador Bakerland and the Swindler Lenevus was a result of the Terror Club. What a pity. If Forrest were to learn of one of these things, she would immediately associate Audrey with justice. She would. I have to keep it a secret. Audrey, even if it's hard on you, you have to keep this a secret. Audrey, she's trying to brag so hardly. Audrey suddenly took a deep breath. Since she didn't know Force feels like Easy Geeky when lost his place, she feels like me. Yeah, she's just like me for real. I feel it. I relate to her so hard right now. Yeah. The city of servers of friends we've made along the way. It's probably gonna be that. Yeah, it's probably. Since she didn't know much about the city of Silver, she didn't know what to ask. Forrest didn't participate in the following transaction and chose to separate from the sidelines. As for the hangman and the world, they successfully agreed to the son's request. The happiness of all was with Klein, for this meant that he reaped thrice the rewards. During the individual communications, the fool could have heard the conversation. Klein obviously didn't have any plans of exalting himself. Son, you sure are simple, he left in his heart. As there was a lot of information about the 7 gods, just as the hangman and the world could only write what they thought was important. After a while, they each passed on the descriptions to the son. Derek quickly scanned through the information and his eyes stopped on the few lines. In addition to the Lord who created everything, the oldest god are the eternal blazing sun. The oldest? The oldest gods are the eternal blazing sun, the lords of storm, and the god of knowledge and wisdom. Those churches were the oldest churches. Why haven't I heard any of these? I've never heard of any of these gods. I feel like there's something very important hidden here. There is. Derek knew that each Terror Club gathering had a time limit, so he hastily ended his review, intending to go back and pray to Mr. Fool for help in awakening his memories. Then the first one to raise the question was Justice. Due to the serial murder, she was interested in the devil sequence. Who? Oh, Justice. Due to the serial murder, she was interested in the devil sequence, so she had immediated Mr. World and asked about the appropriate questions. Derek answered with very and added something. In the corresponding sequence 7, a Beyonder the Abyss pathway can effectively interfere with divinations to spirit channeling. A devil's powers sure are terrifying. I wonder if my sequence 7 psychiatrist will result in a qualitative change, or would I need to be sequence 6? Audrey felt a little apprehensive from what she had heard. The second question came from the hangman. He seemed to have considered this question for a long time. Looking at the sun, he opened his mouth and said in a deep voice, I want to know the creation... Who said this? Hangman. I want to know the creation myth of the City of Silver. The slightly tense Derek relaxed alone and said, the omniscient and omnipotent God created everything and entered a state of deep slumber. The giant king Ormir, the dragon of imagination Ankwilt, the elf king Soninthrium, the vampire ancestor Lilith, the devil monarch, I understood that reference, Farbuiti, the phoenix ancestor Gregrins, the mutated king Kravistir, and the king of demonic wolves, Flagria. Wait. No. Hornicus Flagera? Oh my god, I can't read. Hold up. This last one was the last one for a reason. The king of demonic wolves. Flagera split the remnant powers of authority, becoming lords of the sky, land, and ocean. And the king of demonic wolves. Oh, wait. Flagera split. No. Okay, so it's not the demonic wolf. Flagera split the remnant powers of authority, becoming lords of sky, land, and ocean. They ruled over reality, the spirit world, and the astral world. Klein has access to all three of these things, and every time he drinks a potion, he hears Hornicus Flagera. Easy, please start cooking. Hold up. Wait. So, Flagera? Holy shit, I think I'm right. Where everything came from the land of silver. Oh, there's no lore. Hornicus Flagera. So, I'm onto something. So, a lot of things originated from the city of silver. So, wait. Let's count them all. Shut the fuck up. Were there 7? The giant king... Wait. Armir... Ankwilt... Sonithria... Lilith... Farbuati... Gregrins... Kavastir... And the king... Flagera is 8. Wait, that's 8 beings. Remember how I've been saying Klein would be like the 8th omnipotent god, right? And we're hearing Hornicus Flagera. So Flagera would be the current Beyonder that's at sequence 0. And maybe so just like how wait, Holy Badoon, Jesus Christ, unholy pronunciations, cooking times, bro, bro, come on. That was like the best English pronunciations ever. What are you talking about? We mispronounced every word. Wait. So just like how Mr. Door is communicating to Force, Flagera, aka Hornicus Flagera, is trying to communicate to Klein. From the city of Silver, it's time to start. We're glazing. Oh my god. Use Google text to speech. Oh yeah, we are. You just summon something into your room. Hold up. Bro, that's the equivalent of mispronouncing mod to mortgage. The gods specifically never say they are omnipotent. Only the City of Silver god did. You're right. Yeah, I know, my bad. Okay, yeah. Omnipotent. Romero's trying to take me off the hunch. Hold up. He's trying to get me off the scent. I know what you're doing, bro. I ain't gonna fall for that. We're on. Oh my god! I see it right down here. Hold up, Hornicus. I just read that. It's not like I didn't read that ahead. I literally see that right down there. They ruled over reality, the spirit, and the astral. They were deities who ruled over various races and were truly deities, the ancient gods. Phlegera. Klein, who was listening, suddenly noticed a familiar word. Oh yeah, here it is. Whenever he advanced, or when his condition was unstable, or when he came into contact with the cuttlefish, is good, bro. He is good at like sprinkling lore and connecting this shit. He is really good. He's a really good writer. All right, when he came into contact with the remnant influence of the Antigonus family diary, he would always hear some illusionary, incomprehensible ravings coming from somewhere. Hornicus Phlegera, Hornicus Phlegera, Hornicus Phlegera. Klein had known for a long time that the Hornicus was referring to the mountain range where the ruins of the nation of the Evernight was, but he had never known what the word Phlegera meant. Oh, Hornicus is the mountain range, and Phlegera would be the being. Oh, so the mountain Hornicus was named after the omnipotent god Phlegera. And now, for the first time, he heard Phlegera coming out of someone else's mouth, king of the demonic wolves. And wait, does that mean I'm on the hunt for Beast Tamer? Wait, does that mean Klein is gonna be using like a demonic wolf? Or like he becomes a demonic wolf? Beast Tamer is still on the track in some way, shape, or form. I'm not stalling. I'm glazing cuttlefish right now. Oh my god. But he had asked for wait. Klein had known for a long time that Hornicus is referring to the mountain range where the ruins of the nation of the Evernight was, but he had never known what the word Phlegera meant. And now, for the first time ever, he heard the word Phlegera coming out of someone else's mouth, king of demonic wolves and ancient deity. But why was he involved in the Hornicus mountain range? Klein maintained his unperturbed position as he quietly listened to Derek's recount. Some of them perished in the battle among themselves, while others were stripped of their powers after the awakening of the Lord that created everything, the omnipotent and omniscient. So he reawakened. The first part is the creation myth, and the second part about the City of Silver's true history. Olger wanted to know more, but as the son was unwilling to say more, he could only stop in time and turn his attention to thinking. The king of demonic wolves, Phlegera, had left the stage of history in the second epoch, in the dark epoch, long before the cataclysm. So before the great cataclysm. As he pondered, Klein manipulated the world to ask a question. What he had wanted to ask was which sequence allowed the Beyonder to freely switch between the body and the spirit, just as Miss Sharon did. If the son wasn't aware of the answer, he could consider something else. But now he had something more important to know about, so he hoarsely said, everything about the king of demonic wolves, Phlegera. The son Derek looked at Mr. World in astonishment and frowned. I don't know much about this ancient deity. He's also known as the Annihilation Demonic Wolf and the Evernight. Gets brought up again. Evernight Goddess? He is also known as the Annihilation Demonic Wolf and the Evernight Demonic Wolf? Evernight Demonic Wolf. Evernight. Klein narrowed his eyes. What a coincidence that he became a Nighthawk member that worships the Evernight Goddess. Stop. Were there spoilers? I won't read it. Okay. Alright. Wait. This is no such thing as a coincidence. Am I right or am I right? What about a little bit? No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Please and pretty please. Please and thank you. Okay, let's keep going, man. Let's update our stuff and let's keep reading. Chapter 414. Are you good at art? I am not good at art. Yeah, maybe. I can draw, but it takes me a long time to draw. Chapter 314 is called Possible. The nation of the Evernight at the peak of the Hornicus mountain range believed in the ruler of the Evernight, the mother of sky. Is there someone connecting between that and the Evernight demonic wolf, Phlegera? The illusionary ravings I hear are actually Hornicus Phlegera. What is the connection between the ancient god Evernight demonic wolf Phlegera and the goddess? According to Rizzo, sequence 0 is equivalent to a true god, and each sequence can only have one sequence 0. The goddess had inherited the power from the Evernight demonic wolf. He wasn't the oldest deity, nor was he the eye of the creator as he claimed. Yes, there's a circumstantial clue that doesn't count as proof. The life school of thought worships the moon, the crimson moon that evolved from the creator's eye? That's why the eye is red in the trailer. Wait, I never understood that. Ah, no. The true creator. The crimson moon that evolved. Wait. Yes, there's a circumstantial clue that doesn't count as proof. The life. No, I lied. I'm off the mark. No, never mind. The life of Skull thought worships the moon, the crimson moon that evolved from the creator's eye, but they don't believe in the Evernight goddess. Klein suddenly made several connections as he manipulated the world to speak. Is there nothing else? No matter, regardless of the king of the demonic wolves, Flaguera is also considered a myth in the city of Silver. Derek felt as though he had nothing given any answers. He suggested out of embarrassment, Mr. Full, you can change to another question. Change the question. Little son, you're too honest. The knight won't stand on the ceremony. Klein made the world say hoarsely, your honesty and trustworthiness leave a deep impression. I met a Beyonder before. He was able to freely switch between the body and the spirit, and they were able to direct zombies. Do you know which pathway this belongs to and which sequence it is? Although it's impossible for the son, who was located in the forsaken lands of the gods in the city of Silver, to form a connection with the capital of the Lowen Kingdom, Buckland Klein was cautious enough to change the pronoun referring to Miss Sharon from she to he. By the way, he's not a high sequence Beyonder, the world added in a deep voice. Derek recalled the education he had received seriously before saying, if he is not a high sequence Beyonder, then the Phoenix pathway can it be eliminated. The Phoenix pathway, Klein deliberated, made the world show a certain level of surprise. After attending so many gatherings, Derek was very clear that there was a discrepancy between the terms used by the City of Silver and Miss Justice and Company. Therefore, Derek explained without finding it strange, it's the Beyonder pathway that governs death and partly controls the spirit world? Corpse Collector. Oh, its sequence 9 is Corpse Collector, so it's the death pathway. From the looks of it, Phoenix ancestor Gregorance was deaf during ancient times? Gregorance. So it was like the Gregorance, the next one will be fire. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, dude. One would say a Phoenix. That wasn't a good pun. Was deaf during the ancient times. Clan sat at the end of the long bronze table in a composed manner. He controlled the world as he nodded. I understand. You can continue. Derek replied immediately, and I can only think of two possibilities. One is a type of special devil. Just like I previously said, the devils that evolve from different species can have their differences. There's a type that can freely switch between body and spirit, but Sharon doesn't look like a devil, but they're rather rare, as they might not be able to direct zombies. Oh, he's talking to, wait, can they be human? The world asks. No, not that I know of any similar examples. Derek said honestly. What about the second possibility? Klein thought back to Miss Sharon's useful performance in battle. The world changed his sitting position. Derek replied seriously, mutants? Mutants? Isn't this referring to monsters? The world asked hoarsely. Oh, you mean like you talking about non-humans? Welcome back, Zen. Bro is still alive? Yeah, this was pre-recorded. Imagine. Klein clearly remembered that Mr. Zick had mentioned the term mutant was the general term for humans that were put under a curse. I didn't remember that. Due to different curses, because of a curse. Due to different curses, mutants transformed into different races. They were usually the same as humans, but their hearts were always filled with a suppressed, twisted desire in their heart. Their desires erupted from when they came into contact with a certain scene or object, turning into monsters. They would then succumb to their desires for blood and bloodshed. Every time they unleashed their desires, they would become slightly more merciful and apathetic. Finally, they would lose all their positive feelings and that are expected of a human. The most common mutant was the werewolf. Derek nodded frankly and said, that's right, mutants are various kinds of monsters that evolve from humans due to negative effects of certain Beyonder characteristics. It's not a curse, but the negative impact of some Beyonder characteristics. Sitting upright in the thick gray fog, Klein found that this to be different from what Mr. Zick had described. Is this the understanding of mutants from before the cataclysm? General knowledge in the City of Silver is quite precious to the Beyonders of the northern and southern continents. Klein became increasingly aware of the special nature of the Forsaken Lands of Gods. At this moment, Derek continued, the characteristics which mutants possess happen to be from a Beyonder pathway. Therefore, ordinary people can turn into mutants by consuming potions of woe. Let me reread that. Therefore, ordinary people can turn into mutants by consuming potions as well. So just like the devil and witch potion, you know, like just like how it can physically change your body. Is that what it's referring to? Or that they're similar? A mutant pathway. Which pathway is this referring to? What is the name of the corresponding sequence 9? No. Klein asked curiously through the world. Derek ignored the first few questions, treating them as a necessary supplement. In the city of Silver, the corresponding sequence 9 is called Prisoner. The mind of the prisoner of the body, and the body of the prisoner is the world. This refers to the madness that is restrained from the desire that is oppressed. Prisoner. This pathway is held by the Rose School of Thought. They're famous for their bloody sacrifices and worship the so-called chained god. The true creator is chained, right? Miss Sharon doesn't look like such a cold-blooded, indiscriminate person. Wait a minute. Merrick was apparently being pursued by some faction where he and Miss Sharon, traitors of the Rose School of... Merrick was apparently being pursued by some faction where he and Miss Sharon, traitors of the Rose School of Thought. Their betrayal was because they didn't want to turn into crazy heretics. Klein speculated as he made the world say, I'm very satisfied with your answer. Transaction complete. Following that, a few members shared their experience and news. As for Klein, he ended the terror gathering just before his spirituality was exhausted. When the area above the grave fog returned to its peaceful state, even the fake world was gone. He then started to It's over? He then started to travel back and forth between the real world and the mysterious space, bringing the master key to the ancient palace. Although I deducted from result diary that there's a high probability that there isn't a sequence 0 for the apprentice pathway, I can't be rash. If there is a sequence 1 or 2, they might be able to counteract the effectiveness across space. And what if there really is a sequence 0? I shouldn't gamble with my life. After Klein recovered, he wrote a divination statement. Its origin. Next, he held a master key in his hand so as to not misdirect the moniker it. Leaning back in his chair, Klein chanted the divination statement and gradually fell asleep. In the gray haze of the shattered world, he saw a bronze lamp rack with many flickering candles. Around the lamp rack was what seemed to be a secret room devoid of any external light. There were long tables, black iron pots, glass jars, brown-colored notebooks, and other items. A young man wearing a classic black robe stood in front of the long table staring at the potion in his hand. Okay. Ancestors, I'm about to embark on the path of extraordinariness. I will definitely reproduce the illusionary glory of the Abraham family. The name got brought up again? He mumbled to himself and drank the potion. Wait. What the fuck? We changed point of view. Wait. Leaning back in his chair, Klein chanted the divination statement. Oh, he's doing a dream divination. Okay, my bad. And the gray haze of he's seeing the origins of my bad. Sorry, I zoned out for a second, but I caught it right away. He's seeing the origins of the master key. In the gray haze of the shattered world, he saw a bronze lamp rack with many flickering candles. Around the lamp rack was what seemed to be a secret room devoid of any external light. There were long tables, black iron pots, glass jars, brown-colored notebooks, and other items. A young man wearing a classic black robe stood in front of the long table staring at the potion in his hand. Ancestors, I am about to embark on the path of extraordinariness. I will definitely reproduce the illusionary glory of the Abraham family. He mumbled to himself and drank the potion. The muscles on his face contorted in pain. Suddenly, he cried out of misery and fell to the ground. He squirmed, continuously strangling himself. After a few seconds, he tore off his clothes, stripped off his skin, and turned into a monster and covered in blood. Boom. His flesh exploded, and each piece of flesh seemed to... So it's a characteristic. Each piece of flesh seemed to possess a life of its own as they continued to crawl in every direction. Leaving behind signs of corrosion. In the end, they were unable to leave the secret chamber and gradually calmed down. The specks of light gathered together and combined together with a broken finger, forming an ancient and simple-looking brass-colored key. At the same time, Klein saw a silver pocket watch inlaid with diamonds among the tattered clothes. After the dream ended, he opened his eyes and looked forward. He said with a sigh, seriously, he said he wanted to restore the glory of the Abraham family, but he failed at the first step. It's risky even at sequence 9. The Abraham family was a powerful aristocratic family of the Tudor dynasty during the 4th... Ooh, this is lore overload. of the Tudor dynasty during the Fourth Epoch. It was said that they held the Beyonder pathway of the apprentice, but it was very likely that it was incomplete. Klein recalled the scene he had just seen. He tapped his fingers at the edge of the table and muttered to himself. He spoke in the Loan language. I can't tell where his accent is from. It was during the last 10 years since it became popular to endure pure diamonds and pocket watches. Perhaps I should pay visit to the Harvest Church when I think of the time to ask Father Ruchowski where he got his master key from. Perhaps I can find some clues. Just as Klein was about to leave the fog, the illusionary star that symbolized the magician began to swell and contract. Forge was requesting Forge was requesting a sacrificial ritual. Forge usually would. She lost 500 of her 650 pounds. Forge usually wouldn't have carried so much cash on her, but she had been planning to attend a Beyonder gathering, so she had left 500 pounds to see if she could buy what she wanted. Who knew that the corresponding gathering had been cancelled because of the circumstances? Now she could use it to pay for the apocryphy formula and the acting method, a total of 430 pounds. Seeing the screen of light appear and seeing the path of money disappear, it took Forge a few seconds to react. She sincerely thanked Mr. Full. I shall sell the apocryphy formula to Viscount Glate for 300 pounds. I can't be too greedy, or else this will ruin our long-term partnership. As for Miss Audrey, I'll ignore her for the time being. She hopes of coming into contact with the psychology alchemist and obtaining, if only she knew who she was, and obtaining the corresponding formula directly. If there's really no hope of that, I'll try purchasing it from the Tarot Gathering. Sigh. I have to see if the acting method is effective. If it's, then I have to consider how to pay Mr. Fool. Oh, Shio is such a fool. She has always been acting as an arbiter and has unknowingly fulfilled the requirements of the acting method. How? If she's a book writer. And she has always been acting as an arbiter? Is it because she's been helping... She was such a fool. Wait. Oh, she's talking about Shio, not my bad. My bad. She's talking about Shio, not Force. I thought Force. Okay, never mind. I had it backwards. She was such a fool. She has been acting as an arbiter and has unknowingly fulfilled the requirements of the acting method. Forge began to think of the future. When he received the 430 pounds, Klein also received a prayer from Miss Justice. She said that if Mr. Fool's door no longer needed cash, she could promise to exchange the 200 pounds for result diary entries to make sure that Mr. Fool was satisfied. I'm satisfied. I'm only a few dozen pounds short of 1,000 pounds. Klein declined Miss Justice's offer. Then he bustily helped the son awaken his memories regarding the 7 gods. After doing all this, Klein returned to the real world in exhaustion. He drew the curtains open and started going through the dossier with the information regarding the serial murder, searching for the animal that might have existed. We hit 41 people. That's crazy. Why am I cooked? Don't say chapter numbers? No, it's okay. If there's like Return to Harvest Church. Damn, I want to keep reading, but it's late. There's 40 of you guys here. Wait, hold up. Did we actually hit 46? Oh my god, we're at 42 people. Shut up. There's no way this many of you guys are here right now. That is crazy. What? Really? We're at 40. Dude, I can't even fathom that. That is a lot. Our second and last read through of volume 1, like back in December, was I remember I hit 50. And when we read our last read through of volume 1, I remember we hit like 150. So the two highest peaked numbers was 150 and 50. When you know what's funny? Hold up. You have 2 high school classrooms worth of people. That's a lot. I'm gonna get stage fright, bro. Hold up. That's kind of scary. You know, actually, the highest concurrent view count I had was when I was streaming a Hollow Live karaoke stream. You have no idea the amount of work going in behind the scenes. Bro, my classroom has 42 people. Nagito and Clown Free competitive spoiling. No, wait, no. They're doing a competitive spoiler run. No, I guess. Wait, careful. I love you guys, but careful with spoilers. It's only one classroom here. Dude, thank you guys. Oh my god, I'm trying to do overall thoughts. This was a good chapter. I want an inscription stream. That's the game you guys talked about, right? Damn. I know, I need a game. I didn't spoil a thing. Bro slowly growing his page a little bit. I am noticing that. Yeah, we're slowly growing and we're getting more people trickle in every day. I'm thankful. I I I feel very humbled. Thank you guys. And I'm getting a phone call as I'm saying that. Hold up. Oh, uh-oh. She's calling. How did she know we were How the hell did she know we were doing our outro? Whew. That's kind of scary. She gonna be mad at me, dude. All right. Make the short so you can get more. I know. Oh, we'll do shorts. We'll do shorts. Yeah, no, we do have to do that. But as of right now, we're gonna leave it there. I'm gonna see if I can do a few more shorts over the weekend. What do you think of the lore, and what have you? I wouldn't say I'm confused. I'm more overwhelmed. We are praying for your success, but after 10,000 subs, I will start being a hater just for you. You know what, Unhinged? I respect that. Be like, I was there day one, bro. Everybody at 10,000, fake fans. I was a real fan. Agreed. No, man. Thank you, guys. Hey, every sub counts. Every view counts, man. Thank you. It's fun. It's fun and it feels fulfilling. But bro, get me my advancement. Bro, get me my advancement. You about to level up, Romero. You're on the grind? Yeah, just put on those outros in the bag, bro. Just put the outro in the bag, bro. We gotta jump someone. Don't forget those of us that are here now. When you get back, hey, how would I forget? I can't forget. Of course, bro. Always and forever. I just did. I was a little overwhelmed. So there was 8 different deities mentioned, right? The 8th one that was mentioned was related to Klein in some way, right? Pre-50 sub club are the true OGs. That is true. Lore channel is updated. Shit, man, you guys are quick. You can look at them. Okay. So there was 8 deities mentioned. The 8th one is related to climb in some way with Hornicus mountain range. We're only gonna get answers when we go to that abandoned castle. I remember there's like maggots all over it. I know it was in the trailer, the original trailer, for like 1 freaking frame. Forget us after 10k? Nah, we won't forget. So there were 8 gods mentioned, and there's 7 orthodox gods. We know there's more than seven, but they're not like orthodox, right? Like the true creator, that's not an orthodox god. But like we know there's more than 7 out there. There's 8 good in the city. I don't know if they're good. There's 8 god. Oh, you meant good. There's 8 gods in the city. So yeah, so there was 8 mentioned, and the 8th one is related to clan in some way. So the city of Silver has to be related to the blasphemy slate, right? And maybe that's the origins. 10k by the end of the year. 10k when the anime drops. Knock on wood. But I think we're gonna leave it there. I think I'm just rambling. And we know the 7 gods in Buckland. Yeah, we know the 7 gods here, right? There's 7 orthodox gods. There's like 8 deities mentioned. Hold up, I can't do math. 15. So potentially we're missing 7 more, which would make up the 22 pathways. Each god has a race too. Yeah, so we know there was a giant, there's like a demoness, and there's evil. Yeah, we know there's evil gods, there's good gods, right? And then there's the people lampooning like Klein, where they're on neither side. They're neither good nor bad. But we know the only real god is ASG. Who is ASG? Okay, all right, but we'll leave it there. I'm curious to learn more of this whole Hornicus Flagera thing and how that connects to like Klein, or maybe the dude. There still has to be some play with like the original Klein. Like maybe the original Klein was like a Zik, right? Like, you know, like when a Zik dies, he loses memories and becomes someone new. F Blues, was there a spoiler? Wait. You are an internal OP. Who is that guy spoiling? Were there spoilers? I don't know what happened. Oh wait, I don't know what that means. Cooked? I don't know. I didn't read the spoiler. I won't read up there. Okay, man. Shit, I lost my thought. If a Zik gets new memories when he's like reborn, bro, so many spoilers tonight I can't. Okay, hold up. Okay, all right. If there's spoilers, I won't look. But I'm thinking off the top of my head. Maybe Klein. This is a theory. The original Klein Moretti is Zomingriri, right? So that's why he wrote everyone must die, including me, because he knows he has to die and be reborn as Hornicus Flagera. And then Zomingriri is just like a clip it. And then Zomingriri is just like a figment imagination, right? Like maybe like Zomingriri is just like a farce for him, right? Like maybe the only way that like he can fathom how strong he is by making some shit up that he's like from the real world when he's not. Like maybe it's all a ploy from like the oh my god, I can see some crazy shit happening where like just how like Ince Zangwil came out. I'm not gonna read chat. It's a spoiler. Hold up. Turn the exhaust fan on. Turn the stove off. Like maybe the original Klein in some way has been like manipulating everything in the scene for Zomingriri, just like how Ince Zangwil thinks he's manipulating them. Everything is brain down. All right, we'll leave it there. I am suffering. Okay, all right. I still find it weird how like Klein, like the original Klein, wrote that down. I feel like the book has to come back into play in some way, shape, or form. Like at the end, I don't know. Bro's cooking. You guys are saying I'm burning and I'm cooking. I don't know who to believe. Okay, they are gaslighting you. You're honest. This is all I'm gonna say. Okay. You guys are. I'm fucking on to something. All right, hold on. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna say this one more time. Get my thoughts out, and then end stream. Original Klein is somehow connected to Original Klein is somehow connected to the whole Hornicus Flagera Dreadwolf thing that Derek just revealed in the City of Silver, right? So in some way, shape, or form, he has to kill himself. Oh, you know how he said he resides over during like the physical world, the astral world, and there's like a third world, right? Is he cooking? Yes, it's just I am fucking cooking. Hold up. Wait. Go back. What were the three things? The Dreadwolf spirit. So there's the spirit world, the astral world, and the physical world, right? Those were it. Spirit world, astral world, physical world. I think I'm onto something. Hornicus Flagera resides over the astral world, right? Whatever this is. And the original Klein currently resides over the spirit world, and Klein resides over the physical world. And maybe they have to combine in some way, shape, or form for like whatever endgame ultimatum that I don't know. There has to be some crazy endgame ultimatum where like the three have to unite, and we won't get a hint, or like we won't learn anything until he physically goes to the Hornicus mountain range. Because the bridge, we've been hearing about doors and bridges. Maybe that's the bridge or door or gap. No one say shit. Cooked. Maybe that's like the bridge or door that's gonna like gap all three realms. When chat is silent, Easy's cooking. Like when everybody's silent, it's like I need to shut the fuck up. Like, is he onto something or not? All right, we'll leave it there. That's all I got. I like the eyes. Good answer. I didn't read the message that was unsent. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. That's all I got. We've been live for 4 hours. Bro is cooking or he is cooking. I like that. Cooked or cooking or cooked. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. There's, bro, it's the more you read, the more I read, the more I hope to get answers, but the more fucking questions I have. Before you leave, update a chapter. Yes, because I know I'm gonna forget when we come back. It's crazy. The more I read, the more damn questions I have. I did mention that Unhinged. I said from the beginning that I originally thought Roselle was Klein, but I don't peak stream. Hell yeah, man, we'd be cooking. What if Klein is? I remember I said early on, what if Roselle was Klein? But I think Roselle is a little too freaky for Klein. Klein from the very beginning was like, I don't want any emotional attachments to people in this world. Like, I just want to go back home. But there's no world to. Oh my god, what if like No, okay, yeah, I'll leave it there. Yeah, like there's no world to go. Yeah, no, I don't think Rosol is Klein. Yeah, that's what I was. I thought about that early on, but I feel like I kind of prefer the theory that Hornick is Flagera, or the Dreadwolf that was mentioned, the Dreadwolf Flagera, original Klein, and Zoe Mingriri are like, it's the same being split between the astral spirit and physical world. I remember the 8-hour stream. We're gonna get another 8-hour stream the closer we get towards the end. Or maybe like this, when we have free time. Yeah. And by free time, I mean not picking up a phone call. But I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna end stream. Who's your favorite Terror Club member? That's a good question. I think Derek. Just because Derek is so honest and forthcoming. And he knows so much. Alger is kind of funny right now because he's always glazing Klein, but when he wants to be serious, he's serious. The more I'm reading about Audrey, the more I'm starting to like her, because I feel like she's starting to get a little bit more spotlight in these meetings. But I'm curious to see how Force comes out. We deleted a message. Maybe it's, what is this man cooking, bro? I don't know what I cooked, but I hope I cook something. I hope I cook something. Put that on Billy if I'm on something. Alright, I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna end the video. Dude, I was only supposed to read like 5 chapters, but here we are streaming for 4 hours and reading for 3 hours. For the sake of Romero's sanity, end stream? Yeah, bro. We'll end stream. We're gonna end stream. I might come back later if you guys want to tune in for some Monster Hunter. Just while I calm. I'll probably make some tea, rest my voice. Maybe I can stream. We'll see if the internet allows me to upload and stream at the same time. So, peace. Have a beautiful day. If you enjoyed all my cooking, or if I burned the kitchen, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys this weekend. He's crashing out. I'm not crashing out. We're good, bro. We're good. Ciao, ciao. Bye, Easy Geeky. I'm down to return and promote our boy Romero. Bet. We need mods. Romero, yeah, he is suffering. I know. So far on the table, wait, before we end stream, we got D, we got A, and we got M. We got those three. We got those three on the table. Okay, we got Aerodes, Dose, and I think Mysterious Foe. I don't think he wanted to be mod because he's already helping me out with timestamps. I don't think he wants more work. I don't think he wants more work on this plate. A follower from China. No way, Alex, really? Are you really a follower from China? Shut up. Don't lie to me. Really? Me too? Yo, that's cool. And also Zen. Dude, that's cool. I just saw the clip from Billy. I won't ruin things? Wait, hold up. Look, before, if you really are a follower from China, look at this. I just found out about this. Hold up. Let me scroll up. Look at this. I didn't know I was on Billy. This is pretty cool. Before I end stream. Let's open this. Ready? Look, this is cool. I didn't know. I didn't know this. This is really cool. This is awesome. I really hope that ad is for Nikkei or nothing too crazy. Let's go back to full cam. But that is really cool. Thank you. Bro, put me on the table too. I got you, Zen. LOL, please, not Zen. I volunteer Zen as tribute. I volunteer him as a fucking Romero and send the message. Let me stop the recording, but we can be live for a few more minutes while we talk about that. Alright guys, for the people watching the video, peace! And if you made it to the end of the video, God bless you guys. Oh no, praise the fool. Alright guys, have a beautiful day. Peace! I said peace twice. Sorry, I gotta work on these outros. I think I dragged that out, but it's okay. We'll work on it after like 5-6 months of reading Elotium. We'll work on it. We're still working on it.